Welcome to the July 23rd meeting of the Riley County Commission. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, good rainy day today.
Mhm.
I'm sure it's great out there.
Oh, what's a little mud, right?
Oh my, yeah. Okay, public comment. Public comment. Our favorite time of the year.
Favorite meetings?
Yeah.
How close do I need to get to this mic for y'all to hear me? We good here? Great.
Just speak
Right.
up, it'll pick it up.
Great. All right. I'm Jameson McDonald. I'm the first member of Riley County Fair Royalty.
I am Tegan Riesener, the Fair Queen for this year.
We are here today to represent all Riley County 4-H to say thank you for your guys' support of the fair and everything else that that Riley County 4-H does. And for that thank you, we have our Garfield cookie jar with a bunch of different cookies that were all made yesterday for the fair. So yeah.
Thank you.
You can put that right. I'll guard it. I'll guard it. Thank you very much. We will.
We got a long meeting today.
We have a long meeting. We have that.
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment?
Good morning, Evan McMillan, Public Works. Just wanted to give a heads up. We are going to try to burn out at the transfer station next week if the weather looks good. So it'll be kind of playing it by ear, but just heads up. Thank you.
Okay, anything else? Any other public comment? Or, okay, well, then we'll go to commission comments. Commissioner Ford?
I got lost in the cookies. I wasn't prepared. Give me just a second here. Okay. We'll start off on Monday. After the meeting, I met with Michael Bowler, Riley County Noxious Weed and Hazardous Household Director, to discuss elements within the department, budgeting, the future, several other items. Had a really good conversation, bounced some ideas back and forth. I was with all the departments, continued to look forward to working with everybody in the future. Also Monday, I took the time to head over and advance vote in the upcoming primary election on August 4th. Even though it was mid-morning, the traffic was light. There was just a couple people there. Actually, there were more election workers than there were people there at that time. Maybe that wasn't the case in the morning or later in the afternoon. I don't know, but everybody, of course, was friendly, accommodating, professional as usual. I've come to learn that this is probably the easiest and most productive way to vote. So if you don't vote, you can't complain if there isn't reasonable accommodations in order to accomplish that, because it's pretty obvious you can do those things. So also on Monday, well, I thought I put that on there. Maybe I didn't. Okay. I met with Ron and Chris Wilson out at Lazy T Ranch. Just discussed some rural economic development ideas, some agritourism. They're kind of in the agritourism business and wanted to bounce some ideas off there. Hadn't been out to the ranch in a long time. They've been doing a lot of weddings apparently over the last few years, and kind of outside of that realm at this point in time. But they're looking forward to getting back into some fall related events and stuff they've done in the past. So get a chance to check out some things. Gonna have a nationally renowned country series at the end of August. So they're bringing in a couple of national recognized people to do a concert. So I'm gonna go check that out. Also throughout the week was keeping caught up on the events and other things taking place at the 2027 National Association of Counties Annual Conference and Exposition that's being held in New Orleans this year. Bet you it's pretty hot and humid at this point in time. A lot of really wonderful things taking place. We got an updated leadership team, so a new president, vice president, first chair, past chair, kind of just does its little loop there. New and old committee assignments updated. And then they did some updated policy and resolution changes to work with their legislative teams up in Washington DC for the 26-27 term. Also Wednesday, yesterday, I met with Riley County Public Works Director and County Engineer John Ellerman at the Public Workshops. Had a very engaging dialogue on numerous topics relating to his department and beyond. Spent almost 2 hours chatting. Appreciated the time and willingness to just listen and chat and bounce some things back and forth. Basketball tournament. The basketball tournament has started. K-State pounded the Jayhawks alumni team the other night in Bramlage. Michael Beasley's back. I don't know what the deal is with Jacob Pullen. I guess he pulled out at the very end there. Last night's game was in Topeka. We were up by 16. I thought we were going to sweep them, and then they came back on us. Little PSDA from the past. But I was realizing, most of those guys now with the extra year of eligibility, and Michael Beasley could technically have 4 years of eligibility. There's possibilities there. I'm just saying. So anyway, kind of a fun thing to watch. Obviously it's fair week. Get out to the fair. If nothing else, at least check out the animals and the livestock. I think people would be amazed about how much time and energy and effort goes into keeping all that updated and alive. Just to even get it to a show or awards and everything else. So with that said, that's all I've got this morning.
Commissioner McKinley?
Well, Monday was the 2.5 hour law board meeting. I'm sure everybody's heard of it.
Haven't heard a thing.
Well advertised. The item using most of this time was the grant application that we had discussed last week about for new facilities. Public comment lasted about 35 minutes and it passed 4-1 to apply for the grant. If we're awarded the grant, we're going to review all the details, make sure it's what we want before it has to be approved. And it was brought up at the meeting. They said, what was the deadline to turn it in? It was Friday before that. I said, well, but the county approved it, but if the law board doesn't approve it, we'll pull it. That's what they're.
I think that was the other thing that people have to recognize too is law board can make recommendations, opinions, and everything else, but the ultimate decision rests right here on that. Yeah.
In the facilities.
Then Wednesday, I had a tour of the new, got to look at the Global Center for Grain and Food Innovation.
Right.
Weber building, yeah. That's tying Call Hall to what was left of Weber Hall. It's a giant building. Wandering through there, it's a maze, but there's some classrooms, but a lot of labs too.
That question has come up. Did they mention when Call Hall is going to open back up?
He didn't know. I mean,
I've had several people recently ask me. I guess it's ice cream season, so it makes sense.
And it is on the corner, the part they're trying to get finished first. So
Okay.
I did see where it's going to be and stuff. My nephew's one of the subcontractors. So I got
God, yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
Got to.
If I remember
Let's
right,
speak through it.
there was a date or something on that to have parcel.
Yeah, the way he talked, I think they're trying to open up the west end of it, but I think they're doing that, and then they're going to remodel Call Hall. They've expanded to remodel all Call Hall, and the existing Weber's getting remodeled. There's
The
They keep-
Eldon Gideon I guess that's the agronomy research and innovation complex.
it's
an
say it's their official name, because I had to look it up to see what it's called. Global Center for Grain and Food Innovation.
It's a big-
There's swarming people there. That's what I had.
Okay, well, I didn't write any comments. I got home kind of later in the afternoon yesterday. I was in Virginia visiting with my daughter and it was really hot and we got a lot of smoke from the Canadian fires.
Hmm.
It was really bad.
Huh.
Stayed inside a lot.
All the way down to Virginia. Huh? Wow.
Yeah,
Huh.
it would come in during the day and then it kind of let up at night and it'd come back again. It was
Huh.
really strange, but anyway, and talk about critters, she has a lot of critters, she has to take care of it. It's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
Kudos to the 4-H kids for working so hard.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's all I've got. I'm glad to be back home.
Hmm.
So let's go on to our business meeting.
First item is a change order for University Park wastewater lagoon facility.
I
Any
guess-
comments?
Oh,
Anything?
no, actually, that was one I missed on the card there, so,
Okay.
um,
Do you have any questions? Evan?
well, that's why Evan's here.
Do you have any comments or anything on it?
Any questions? This is mainly for removal of the bentonite that was planned in the Lagoon Minor. That's the.
Okay,
I was wondering, it said there was a force main that they didn't know was there that we had, yeah, you know.
yeah,
Yeah,
So the new force main goes along Red Bud Drive. All of our plans show it being in the ditch, but it was actually in the middle of the road. So we had some extra days there, extra labor getting around that force main to make sure we didn't hit that. So that's where some of that cost came back.
Yeah, yeah, you said it was, force main was too close to where the new one was supposed to go.
It was very close. Yeah, they were probably in a 2 foot,
Oh.
2 foot range. So they were digging pretty slow.
okay, anything else?
let's see, we're moving along with it, though.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make a motion then to approve change order number 1 for University Park wastewater lagoon.
Now, second,
It's been moved and seconded to approve change order number 1, for the University Park wastewater lagoon. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's just the chair. Motion to approve resolution establishing certain fees to be assessed to users of the Riley County Solid Waste Facility effective October 1st.
I think we looked at this before. Didn't we?
Yeah, and then do you refresh our memory? We're kind of comparable with everybody else for the most part in the
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. This was I brought this for discussion either last week or the week before. I didn't present a resolution at that time. I should have, but I'm bringing it now. Comparatively, I think Geary County is at 72 and then Dickinson might be at 70. I might have those reversed, but very comparative to our region.
Okay. Now, the reality, I guess there is we've made some sizable upgrades
Yeah.
to that, in which we've got to service and be able to maintain, so that's just the nature of the game.
Okay, so we have a motion.
Yeah. I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution establishing certain fees to be assessed to the users of the Riley County Solid Waste Facility as presented, effective October 1st, 2026.
now, second,
So moved and seconded to establish fees for it to be assessed to the users of the Riley County Solid Waste Facility effective October 1st, 2026. All in favor? Aye.
Motion to approve the indemnification and hold harmless agreement with Andrea De Jesus doing business as A&H Farms. And also an agreement with Jake with Manhattan Brewing Company.
So we're tracking once again, that is in a designated area there at the fair, right?
That's my understanding.
Okay. Somebody had asked me if you just walk around and drink at the fair, and I said, no, that's not how that's established. It's within a boundary around,
Mhm.
I think, between Hotdrop Hall and the other arena there, isn't it?
That's what I recall.
Okay.
Haven't been out there.
Yeah, and this is in addition to the fair boards.
Yes.
But I think theirs is in that same general area too, but it may extend to the tables and chairs over there just south of that area there. So it's all combined in between.
Give them one spot there.
Yeah. Well, that seems to be a concern.
Yeah,
They're playing, baseball over across the way. You're just, I said, well, first off, that's the city. They can do what they want segregately, but it's in a confined area. So it's answering that question.
okay, do we have a motion?
Well, I move to approve the indemnification and hold harmless agreements with Andrea De Jesus, A&H Farms, and Jake Vogelai as Manhattan Brewing Company.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to approve the indemnification and hold harmless agreements with Jake Bogley, Manhattan Brewing Company, and Andrea DeJesus. I'm sorry, I'm tongue-tied. Who's doing business at A&H Farm. All in favor?
Kind of cutting that one a little close, aren't we?
I think it covers the whole thing.
Yeah. I don't think it'll start till tonight with the rodeo.
Right.
About, unless it's pouring down rain, I'm thinking about going out there tonight and checking out military appreciation. Yeah. But probably don't need to eat some Chick-fil-A, but I'd certainly like the smell of it. Yeah, that's true. Might be one of the last times we get to see them. Somebody, yeah. Yep.
Items, I need a motion for approval of the CIP project amendment form for playground equipment at Seco Park for Public Works Parks Department.
We had never approved 600,000 to be spent next year. All we'd approved was 35, right?
Correct.
So I don't, what are we, I don't,
I think we have to
Get
do the
this.
amendment
No, that's
Yeah,
all we
I don't
did.
know.
Yeah, and my CIP notes are buried in all the budget stuff and I couldn't find them. But I don't remember, because this acts like we approved 600,000. We never approved 600,000.
Well, I think it was
It's a
allocated,
reserve.
but
It's a
that-
reserve, it's a
right,
reserve.
yes, it
and I
is,
assume
yes.
it's staying as a reserve.
I was assuming we were taking that out and returning it back to the general fund to be allocated to the budget,
No, I didn't.
which
I
I
thought
guess.
it was just, there's been
It's,
a reserve
legal.
CIP for future.
Time in?
Been putting some, a little bit each year into that.
Yeah.
CIP, that portion of the CIP. And if it's saying release all that, I don't agree with that. I think we need to keep it as money for.
I think that was reallocated to whatever channels through
I
the,
think I want a clarification from Brittany, and I forgot, I was gonna ask her, I forgot she was gonna be here today. It just said, doesn't sound right to me.
So we table this.
yeah.
until she
it's
gets
tabled,
back.
that's fine.
Yeah, we can table it, review it for Monday.
Next item is.
What, do we need to actually make a motion officially to table it?
Probably. Would be a
Okay.
good idea.
Safely,
Wouldn't
sorry.
hurt.
Okay, I'll go ahead then and make a motion to table the amendment for the project number 25-25 PK 004 as presented.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to table the CIP project amendment for playground equipment. All in favor?
Alright.
Next item is Riley County Employee Action Forms. For Sophie Linkovich, intern in the Museum Department for Separation, Billy Klaus, intern Museum Separation, Addison Hayes, intern Health Department Separation, Liz Polisque, an interpreter in the Health Department for Separation, Robin Imbu, a new hire as an as-needed assistant in museum, Sydney Pasani, a new hire as election assistant in the court collection department, Kendall Hansen, a new hire as an election assistant in the clerk election department, Noah Adams, Eileen Hackley, and Rebecca Burns, new hires as election workers in the clerk election department. I can have a motion to approve.
I'd move to approve the Raleigh County Employee Action Forms.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Raleigh County where are we? To approve the action forms. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome.
Oh, there it is. There, I'm sorry.
Item is to approve payroll and accounts payable.
I'll make a motion to approve payroll and accounts payable.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve payroll and accounts payable. In favor?
Aye.
Sign is fine.
So now I gotta get this hairball in my throat.
Any changes to the July 20th minute?
I didn't have anything either. Okay, I'll make a motion then to approve the minutes as written from the July 20th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the July 20th meeting as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any changes to the tentative agendas?
Nope. No.
Any press conference topics?
No, there too.
Hey, we have Barry at 9.
It's nine.
Morning, commissioners. Kind of want to advise where we're at this week, and I know we started talking about maybe we'll, try to give a little bit more information about what's going on in our office so that people know what they're paying for. This fall, we have scheduled, one attorney has 6 murder or attempted murder trials set for this fall. Jury trials are going to go. I've got the 2 other attorneys who have attempted murder cases that are set for trial. I've got Mr. Muth and I are doing another domestic kidnapping case that's set for trial, and we have at least 2, maybe 3 rape cases that are set for trial this fall. Those are violent crimes. They're difficult cases. They are cases that take a lot of resources, both human resources, my staff, my attorneys, as well as financial resources. A lot of these cases are week-long trials. And so, and just bringing in witnesses. And as we've talked before, we have a very, transient population here. So, we're going to be housing witnesses, or we're required to pay for their room, and also for their meals and to testify as well. So it's I've got good people, and I appreciate, frankly, the support of this commission has allowed me to hire good people. And because of the good people that I've gotten, I've got people that'll work, that will do the work, and will make this community safer. And that's what what I can tell you is we do what we can to spend our money wisely. But I do think that people in this community, they want a safe community. They want people that are trying to kill people, that are raping people, that are beating people. They want them off the street, and they don't want them out there on the street. So I've got the people to do it, and we'll get through it. But it's going to be a challenging fall. The next 4 months will be 5 months. So that's kind of where we're at. I'll try to do a better job of keeping you updated. Because we've also got thrown in here are some drug distribution cases, people selling drugs, which some of these other things are related to as well. But I will try to keep you updated on, how these cases are progressing and how we're moving through. We start 1 in 2 weeks. So I see how it goes, but stand for any questions.
I don't have anything.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, Garfield's been staring at me for too long.
Wow.
Yeah.
We've had a hard 35 minutes.
Yes. Spread the wealth, Garfield. Good choice.
How are they?
Good.
Excellent.
Purple one.
I was gonna do it. Sorry, this one.
Lavender cookie.
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, I'm good. Thank you.
Oh, you want
Sounds
some?
like a kid.
I slept pretty well last night comparatively.
Here, he can stare at you for a while.
There we go. Maybe he'll get to me too.
Mhm.
Law board, we set up the initial committee on the hiring.
Oh, did you?
That's Wes Moplin, Craig Beardsley.
Good. Get that started.
Yeah. And that's what first thing is review the job description to make sure it's still what we want.
Yeah.
If anything's changed that we want to change, but I think if somebody sent out the one.
The old one, yeah, I had that, a copy of that. Because we looked at that when Brian was on, checked it.
We didn't change much, if I remember correctly.
Couple.
Yeah. That seems like forever ago. No.
It's a good. Well, they're all good.
I guess I understand why Garfield has a big head, huh?
He does have a big stomach.
He has always had that. I didn't realize how big his head and his eyelids are.
He doesn't really have a neck.
No,
in this
he doesn't,
particular,
yeah.
no. Probably make it hard to get the
He's got
cookies
quite
out.
the attitude, though.
You how much lasagna
Yeah.
But she's.
I've grown up with that cartoon.
Try to stretch my admin session to 20 minutes. Do my best.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't think.
I was just gonna eat more cookies.
All right, that works. I don't think I'll make it to 20 minutes.
You kind of got thrown into it this morning, didn't you?
I found out yesterday
Oh.
afternoon, but had a little bit of notice.
On cookie day, we need to make sure it's scheduled breaks. in the
Yeah.
Agenda.
There's the person right there to
Yeah,
talk
cookie
to.
breaks and it's locked in our-
I'll do that next week. Start putting 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Cookie break,
Yeah.
cookie break.
Bring some milk and chocolate milk in too.
Got a fridge now.
Yeah, we do. Which reminds me, I need to go get some vitamin water today.
It is. Yeah, and sometimes. Oh, yeah.
Who Jacob out today?
Yeah, he's up in Topeka with Rich.
Oh,
They're doing that testimony for the League of,
Yeah, League of Women Voters v. Schwab, I think it is. Rich was subpoenaed as a witness.
that, okay.
that was for ballot thing.
Yeah, I
Couple
think
other
it's
things.
signature verifications.
Have to do all that right in the middle of an election. That's the irony.
Wow,
Wait till December.
that's just weird. All over the country. It's just, I saw that they at the crane over there. Is it on the other side or where?
I didn't see it over there, but I
It left for a while.
don't know if it's coming back here first and then over there or there or over here, but
Yeah, I think up said come back to the front
yeah,
later and then back over here again.
that's why they just kind of filled it in with
Cause I was wondering.
asphalt over there for now. I think their goal is to go back through and redo it officially, but makes no sense if you're gonna bring it back in
Yeah,
September or something.
Well,
isn't it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
What happened to have the parking places back, albeit temporary?
All right, good morning, Commissioners. Michael Hawthorne, Assistant County Counselor, here for an administrative session. I don't have much to provide other than, or beyond what Jacob had mentioned on Monday. Tomorrow, we have a confirmation hearing for this year's tax sale, which should be exciting. Tax sale was about a month ago now. I think Jacob had mentioned this, but we've made progress negotiating for that easement for Deep Creek. I'm gonna be back here in front of the board in a few weeks with a resolution ordering cleanup of one of the, to ask the board on a resolution to order cleanup one of these nuisance properties. We've got a diversion revocation hearing set for another one of those cases in September. We've got the public hearing for the Peterson Ranch Benefit District on Monday, which should be exciting.
That is sarcasm, right?
I think it could be exciting. I've never seen one before.
Very standard. You did mention, or you guys are working on negotiating with several counties an extension of that nuisance abatement.
Oh, yes, we have a meeting with, I think, Johnson County next week to talk to them about it.
Crawford County and Sedgwick County should be coming up due too, because those are the other two counties.
Yeah, that were also included in it. So that should be exciting. Be good to have some concrete results to show to the legislature. With that, that's about all I had. Commissioners have any questions? Well, I do have a joke if anyone wants to hear it.
Yeah, sure.
How did the barber win the race? He knew a shortcut. Thank you.
Have a cookie on that one.
I think I've heard it.
I better have a cookie on my day.
That was a tough
I'll find an
acting
excuse
session.
today.
I think we've all. heard
I'm
it.
going to the doctor tomorrow, so they're gonna hate me about
Good time today.
it. Got down to, ooh.
The good ones are down at the bottom. huh?
Well, for me, maybe. I don't know about the rest of it, but I ain't turning down an M&M one. Here we go, second round.
My goodness.
First.
Got it.
No, just be wrong to turn down homemade goodies, right?
It's a little.
Yes, yeah.
It's like community service, right? So they're made for the community.
Exactly.
You want some more?
Over here, I better grab it.
Yeah.
No chocolate chip M&M.
Oh, that's not.
Oh,
I
that's
need to,
interesting.
I need to find those people. You know, Elizabeth?
I'll be able to make it adjourn. These are all fine.
Yeah, they enter them in the contest.
Yeah.
Commissioner Ford used to judge cookies.
I still do.
Still do. Are you
It's
still
apple
judge-
pie this year.
We have apple pie at the farm.
It's pie.
Do you?
It runs pie and cake. Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Nice.
I remember that. That one.
So you really get the goodies if you actually do some work. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I always make sure and tell them, you have a really, really good job, guys. It comes with good payment.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Cindy, do you want cookies?
I'm good, thank you.
We're up to being an adult sometimes. Didn't have cookies for breakfast and not getting yelled at about it.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I've used to got chocolate chip.
Mm. I brought some cookie and cake in last week to work. We got 2 people in our department that have been there for 20 years.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Which department are you in?
I work in our 4C department now, so I'm still doing production related stuff about with our 3 lines. I was thinking about last week too. I've almost been there for 12.
12 years.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
this upcoming spring. And they've put up with me for 12 years. It's amazing. That M&M cookie was amazing. The chocolate chip and oatmeal and M&Ms. Calls it trifecta. Trifecta. Can't go wrong with that combination. Kind of like Jordan and Pippen and Rodman from the late 90s, the Bulls.
One time just added 2 coaches from Harper.
Yeah, was Harper still on that team or?
Yeah, he was.
Okay,
Cookies 4 and 5.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kukoc was good.
Yeah. That was our closing lineup.
Yeah. Remember they were playing it, he played for Croatia or something in the Olympics in '96 and
Thanks to that 80 million.
yeah, yeah, I remember watching that for some reason.
But you're almost, yeah, get there, pretty close. How are you looking?
Still raining out there.
Yeah, I
Rasher
don't know if I
King.
can remember the last late July where everything's just lush and green. I'm not complaining, but I just hope we have a fall this year.
That would be nice.
That starts like around Labor Day and strolls through Thanksgiving at least. That'd be great.
I wouldn't mind it getting cooler.
Yeah. We've been pretty fortunate. Monday was the first day of the year. We went over 100. It looks like Sunday, Monday, this upcoming week's gonna be the same, but and it cools back off again and kind of averages around 90.
Think so?
If that's the rest of summer, I'll take it.
Rasher came to start waterproofing my basement yesterday, so I figured today would be a good test.
Oh,
How well
yeah,
they
yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah. For sure.
Fortunately, if water starts coming in, they'll be right there in the basement. this
Yeah,
morning.
right, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, you can review it. You want to just email it to Jacob and I? Oh, yeah, but yeah, I can swing by and get a copy.
I have.
Yeah, cool.
You're just, I'll bring it over.
I was just looking for an excuse to stretch my legs, Corey.
I'll meet you halfway.
All right.
So,
Watch closely what they're moving back and forth there.
so,
Oh my gosh.
they're all brought over. I made a copy to have, but once you
Statutory
put it on.
Mm.
laws and stuff.
Sounds good. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Lori.
Just for a small remodel, huh? That was
It's
a
only
lot.
like 2 pages for the actual contract.
So you're gonna try to swing by the fair later?
I think so. I'm gonna be there Sunday. I was seeing Judge, but
Right?
I usually show up early and go through everything there and talk around, see what vendors there are. Sometimes I'll stop for a funnel cake. The last few years I haven't.
Like it's just something you have to do with the fair, though.
Correct, right. Or a turkey leg.
Oh, all right.
And I'm not so for sure those are turkey legs anymore.
They've
They're really
gotten-
overfed or they've got steroids or something.
I was gonna say, have they gotten smaller or bigger? Are we
Yeah.
worried about them being chickens or worried about them being?
I think they're more like ostriches. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I mean, they're like that big around.
Date on which day to try to bring the 2-year-old. She has not been to the fair yet. So
Oh, yeah.
bet she'll have a good time.
I maybe say, maybe if it's not raining tonight, but if it's tomorrow night might be a little bit better.
Yeah, I think it'll still be pretty cool tomorrow. So that's probably what I'll shoot for.
Definitely go through the livestock.
Mm-hmm. No, she tells me every day her favorite animals are cows.
Yeah, you're gonna see plenty of them there.
She also really likes. They're her favorite animals. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They're my favorite animals too, but probably not for the same reason.
Been to a farm before. I don't know. She's seen a baby cow that was a few hours old. I guess that's probably it.
Oh, they're cute.
Uh, hamburgers are also her favorite food. So when she asks me where they come from, I just say beef.
Yeah.
Come from beef.
Connection.
That's a connection that'll get made at some point in time, though. You gotta,
Also,
which one's more important?
right. Also likes chickens, and she asks where chickens come from. I say eggs. Well, they come from eggs.
So does she eat eggs?
She does eat eggs.
There's plenty of chickens out there too. Well, one she'll probably fall in love with the rabbits. That seems to be a
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. She does love rats.
Sheep and goats and
Weirdly, I'm not sure she's that fond of dogs, even though we have 2 dogs.
When are you supposed to get a pet cow?
Yeah, there we go. But I'm pretty sure that's not permitted under Manhattan zoning code. But we could try it anyways. Have a cow in the backyard.
we'll put a mane on it and some other things and just call it a horse.
There we go.
I'm sure there's some ordinances against that in the city too, but we have a better shot.
Like a classic dairy cow and call it a Dalmatian.
Yeah. Paint some spots on it.
There we go.
I don't know if we're that far disconnected from rural that people wouldn't know the difference.
Well, people don't listen anyway, because I had a neighbor for about 3 years that had chickens and roosters in their yard.
Yep.
Fortunately for them, I'm usually up at 4:35, so it didn't do much damage to me, but you could hear them.
Yeah, likewise.
whatever.
They're still in my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That'd be fun to take her there. I think that'd be exciting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's gonna be fun.
It's fun to do all this. Kids first, second, third times.
Mm-hmm. Cool enough. We'll bring the stroller and we can take the 3-month-old too. I don't think she'll enjoy it as much though.
Looking for families.
If in the stroller, you just sleep. That's what I would do if they put me in a stroller. I would just sleep.
Sleeping is her favorite activity. So I'm very grateful.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
what it
Yeah,
is.
you're lucky.
Complaints there.
You're very lucky.
I think she sleeps more than the 2-year, sleeps better than the 2-year-old. But yeah, I'll take it.
Maybe it's flipped. She gets to be 2 years old, and then you have to deal with the stress of it.
Well, fortunately, the 2-year-old has always been a terrible sleeper. And so far, Scarlett, the 3-month-old, has always been a good sleeper. So I'm hoping that just keeps.
Okay. We'll keep you in our thoughts.
I start coming in with giant bags under my eyes, you'll know. You'll know
Eventually that'll
potential
happen
swamp.
anyway, regardless of kids, but you've got a ways.
I figured I was turn about 12, 13. And you're gonna have lots of.
Yeah, you'll be wishing they sleep for sure. Quite honestly, boys aren't that better at that age, to be honest with you.
They were starting in the early.
Mhm.
Girls were really challenged.
Makes the same noise as mine does.
Okay, Corey.
Ready. All right. Good morning, Commission. Corey Meyer, Director of IT GIS, here for staff update. We first off, I'll talk on budget. We're not seeing any changes in the way hardware and things are being presented to us as far as cost. In fact, we were just notified by both Dell and Crucial and a third manufacturer that they're now going into a memory shortage. So, you know, now pretty much all parts pieces in relation to desktops, laptops, servers, any of those things are all hitting hardware shortages. And again, as I've said before, the one word to explain that is data center. And so we are doing an evaluation to make sure where we stand on things as far as our equipment and our replacements and so forth. Also, in regards to budget, we decided we try to do a deeper dive, think outside the box. Might not be able to happen immediately, but as far as future goes, currently we have what we call 3 sites, locations, the downtown location here, the office building location where we have servers. We have servers out at health department and EMS, that campus, and then out at Public Works. We've been monitoring the usage, the amount of data we store, the amount of traffic and so forth, and we are evaluating to consider to combine 2 sites together. We wouldn't actually have servers at the health department, EMS, EM museum campus. What we do with those, we would actually potentially run from the servers at Public Works. We would increase our size of our communication pipe between the locations, but we have large enough resources on those servers. And where that would lead to is that we wouldn't have to purchase as many servers and as much storage going in the future. So we decided to try to how can we think outside the box? And if we've got 2 servers there and those are going to cost 100,000, well, if those are servers that we don't have to replace in the future because we can restructure how we're doing things, then it's an area where we might be able to do some work there. But I'll throw the caveat to that is that we still have to have the performance of all the users at that location. But I do want to say that, you know, we are trying to explore ways and options and things that we could do different, including the possibility of moving the data all the way into using OneDrive more and putting their data maybe more cloud-based. And again, then that would mean we wouldn't be purchasing. It's what's called SharePoint, which we have and we use. In some departments, we have moved to that. And so we are really evaluating how we're doing things to see, you know, how we might be able to make changes in the future budgets. And those would be things to be reflective into the 28 and 29 budget as we move forward. But we are trying to explore what we can do because we do know that we have rising costs from our department in regards to the hardware and so forth. You've all seen the emails lately. Email filtering has been quite the ongoing task for us here lately with the compromises that I've sent out. It's getting very difficult to catch some of these things now, and we are on the verge that if we turn it up anymore, we are really going to cut down production. We are really going to cause delays in what we do on a day-to-day basis. But we are working diligently, watching. We are working on an education campaign to be sending out more information to our users. Thank you, all our users. I wish they were all looking and listening, but I will send that to them that when we've had these and they have gotten through, our users have done a great job of taking pause, looking, this doesn't seem right. It doesn't look right. I'm just not sure. Those 30 seconds makes a world of difference in allowing us to take a look at what we've got coming through.
On the subject, Corey, and I know I already emailed you about this, but I don't know about everybody else, but I'm getting an extraordinary amount of just advertising. And I know some spam and phishing things are kind of blended in with that. Most of it is, I mean, if those individuals really are interested in doing business with Riley County, there's better ways than just sending an email at this point in time. And
so from your email, I tasked our team with going through and looking at what we've received. So we on the back end of it, we can see things in categories. And so we are going and reviewing those categories, and we see them too as come through as advertisements and so forth. And so we're going to change where we're sending a lot of those to. We'll send more of those directly to junk instead of directly into inbox. So based on that, it was time for us to do a review of those things again. And so I appreciate you mentioning that. You know, we get going and we just keep going the way we are. And so I encourage anybody to let us know, I'm seeing ones from this user or I'm seeing a whole bunch, and then we'll do a review and analysis of what those are. But yeah, so
I get, seems like some days I get 3 to 4 of them a day.
I wish I only got 3 to 4.
I understand that. It's kind of frivolous. I mean,
I wish, but I understand. You've
got a better way of doing asphalt. Maybe you ought to be talking to the Public Works Department instead of. I mean, I'm just saying that's probably the better way to go about it than just sending out a direct messenger to the entire group, you know.
So we will take an active review of all that, and we can do some reclassifying of messages and stuff that we get. So thank you. That prompted us to turn that into some a project and review that we need to do. So thank you for that. Server installs and server upgrade licensing. I've been talking about that. We have now received our 2025 licensing. So we'll move forward with our project to move us from VMware over to Hyper-V. That's the cost savings that why we're doing that project, because VMware has become a very, very expensive product for us. So we will be moving forward with that. That is a project that will start now. We will have to have completed by March. Again, I just spoke on network upgrade and server consolidation as far as we're analyzing whether we can do that or not to be cost effective, but we've also got to stay productive and not cause issues with the performance of users. The EM building, the remodel there, we're getting really close to being done. Ready Systems is out there today finishing up the EOC conference room. So we'll be staff out there training and going through that. It is what we call a full matrix system. We really designed the idea of how to use that room around several years ago when the dam was getting really close and we had all the various entities, organizations that were up at Denison Fire Station working together. And we can break the room up into pods and each one can have a TV they connect to. And so it will be very effective going forward. The room has already been used a couple of times and other counties and that came in, they sounded as if they were a little jealous of it. So I was glad to hear that. So yes, sir.
And how does that work for a more prolonged event like a pandemic per se? I mean, is that part of the planning?
Yes, it
with that
is.
too? Okay,
So
I
we
got it.
designed the room so it can be classroom style as far as teacher. And then those that are in the classroom, we've also designed it so that it can be whole room. And then it can be broken up to where, like I said, it can break up into pods and areas where different groups will be able to work, whether it might be, KBI, FBI, could be, Homeland Security needs an area to work and they'll be able to have space, TV. And then at any given time, they could say, there in what I have to show, I need everybody to see. Press a couple of buttons on a keypad that's just like this, and now they're broadcasting all TVs. And they can even join meetings and so forth and share and have ongoing, Teams or Zoom meetings at the same time. So it will be a very useful system as they get going forward.
Is the dispatch, do you do that or?
Yes.
is it-
Yes,
Okay.
so we have been working with AT&T and a group they have called the Tiger Team. They are, as of yesterday, reviewed where the fiber location would be installed. They will be sending out their teams to get it all put in. The dispatch consoles are installed by AT&T and that Tiger Team. Tyler from RCPD has been down there with us. We have them partially up and installed at this point and working. And then we also have a workstation in there that's on the county network. Those dispatch units will connect back to RCPD and they will be an always active. So once they sign into their software on there, they'll be sitting there like a dispatcher, just as if they were down at RCPD. So instead of it being, you gotta turn it on and get it connected, it will be in both consoles will be an always ready type situation where they can go in there. So we think 2 weeks. 2 weeks. They might have the install done mid-August. I guess I got to think of my dates. Mid-August, they'll have everything up, and then we'll go through testing with dispatch and so forth into September to know that we're active and ready to be able to go. So it's working out very well. The IT GIS remodel, we just received contracts that I gave to Michael there. So once Counselor's office is done reviewing, I will bring those forward into the business meeting with John going to be on vacation the next couple of weeks. Then I'll bring them forward to get signed. Everything is on track to be able to move forward with the September 1 start date that was presented. And again, that is 180-day completion. And so we're excited to be moving forward with the project. And thank you again for your approval on that. Reorganization planning, again, there's been continued conversations where the administrative services will go. I think you might hear more of that later in conversations that come up. And then also been working with the Dave and some various staff, HR and so forth, in conversations about the health department, which you'll hear again later. Monitor upgrades, will be upgrading public works. Laptops were on hold, no replacements this year to save on budget costs. Desktops, we have enough already in inventory that will replace the treasurer's office. We'll do that between election times. So after August, before November, we'll be working in there. The health department, EMR, they're getting ready to go live with the new system and we are assisting them in the data conversion. The Public Works conference room, I got pricing on that. It was an $80,000 on that. I've put a postponed on that for now while budgets get settled out where CIP, those kind of things. And so I'm not going to bring that forward until a later time. I will say though, it is an area where we do have failing equipment and we're buying purchased and refurbed and things like that to get put in there. But we are band-aiding it along. It will be something that is going to have to be done fairly soon. Our AS400, we are scheduling an upgrade for that in September. That system runs, it's called Comtech. That is our tax accounting that the clerk, treasurer, and appraiser's office uses. Election security, we're finishing up camera installs. They had a grant for some additional security. And so everywhere where the machines go and get stored, we have to have them under security, video surveillance. So we added camera actually to the alley and added cameras to noxious weed. Those are the ones that are yet to be completed. Extension and fair, you've got your Garfield of cookies there and so forth, but getting extension set up out at the fairgrounds and get them up and going. Always a fun time because it comes with yummy rewards. And yeah, so we enjoy that. Plus the fair is great. It's a big fair. It is amazing to go out there, and their full schedule of events is quite incredible. So they do a phenomenal job out there. Email filtering, I listed it twice. It's been that big of a deal for us as of lately, but we're continuing.
That's not spam, is it?
Huh?
Listing it twice. One of them's not spam.
No, that's just a reminder of like how bad it's going, how much is going on. You know, in GIS, again, I believe my last staff update talking about our major upgrade that we have coming and continuing the planning on that. It's actually a lot of exciting features that are in there and things that'll be able to be done, especially on the user end, the user side of that. I'll mention again our intern Caden that's been with us, doing a phenomenal job. So fortunate to have him. Wish he'd be able to stay longer. But we're getting a lot of updating done and a lot of work taking place and good reports from our staff of the work that he's doing. Section ties is part of what he's updating and working on as well. And so that's going out, finding those areas where we're tough for us to map because we don't have the official section tie or geological survey marker and so forth. And he's working with those. And then a shout out to Will in GIS, who's been helping me with mapping out buildings and rooms and so forth. Those we have been evaluating where services could be moved to as far as admin, health, some of those kind of things. And so I want to give Will a big shout out, as well as Derek, who was helping on that. They are strategic in some plans, thoughts, decisions that we've had going forward. So if there's any questions for me, I would be more than happy to answer. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Good morning, Vanessa Gray, Public Information Officer. So I did see in previous meetings, as well as notes Vivian left that were very helpful, have been through this process, that she does updates. She did updates for you. So I'm looking to start those back up. So I figured why not rip off a Band-Aid and do it this week. So I want to go over a few topics just that I have done since this will be my third full week of me being here. So I kind of hit the ground running. A lot of social media topics. Social media is a huge part in getting people to our website, but getting the information out as well. So these are a few topics that I have put up so far. A lot of it has been focused on the election and voting, as well as some of the intern spotlight we did, road closure that's coming up next week, a lot of the property valuation change, R&R stuff that's going to come out tomorrow as well. So that way people are getting a little bit more informed with that service there. So these are just, again, a few things. Today is the Battle of the Badges, as well as tomorrow, the blood drive. So that is getting pushed out quite a bit on the EMS page. So I've been really focused on that, as well as the cyclosporiasis update for the health department. So again, a lot of updates. So I'm just wanting to make sure to get information out and hit the ground running with it. I think that's my main goal. A few statistics for social media, if you were interested, they are listed there for each specific Facebook page that we have under Riley County. So we have seen a significant increase in traffic on our Riley County page. Again, the more we put out there, the more traffic we're going to get, as well as I have joined 2 of the main Manhattan groups sharing information in there. It gets more people pulled into our page that weren't originally. You just want people to see your Facebook, and that's how you're going to do it. So again, increases 523% in views, and this is from June 22nd to July 19th.
Is that across all mediums?
That's just
Facebook.
the Facebook.
Okay.
And then Riley County Instagram, the increases of 21% for followers. Just those are views. And then follows are up 600% on our Instagram for Riley County. And I will say that seems intense. It could just be from 10 followers to 20 to 30. However, it is an increase, and that's what we like to see. So a lot of these content interactions are up 100% on our Instagram as well. So emergency management, we do have some increases as well as some decreases, but we are working on that. There are a lot of pages to run, and there's a lot of information to put out there. So I'm going to start working with the departments individually to see what they can do on their own. In the meantime, however, I am doing the best that I can to get their information out as needed. There's the health department Facebook. You will see some increases in views and increases in page interactions by 642%, but page visits, videos, and reels have been decreased. So with the website, we can get analytics. I am learning that currently, so I don't have those for you right now, but I am learning how to pull those here. So with all of this information, again, the reels have decreased quite a bit on a lot of them, except for the Riley County, because your live we did turn that into a reel, and it's brought a lot more viewers to that. Turning it into a reel, and what a reel means is that it will stay there as a video and it'll circulate publicly versus just solely on our page. So what my goal is to do is more video content for departments to get those numbers increased. And I think it's just more personal for people to see us on video interviewed, having either fun or serious interviews. So upcoming projects to cover is the ribbon cutting. There is Public Works grant that I have spoke to them about. So information will be there. Noxious weed spotlight, I did do one this week already to talk about specific weeds that they will see in the area and what they pose as a threat to the environment or people and animals. That was actually very fun. I know so much about noxious weeds now, and I hope everybody else enjoyed learning about them, because I did very much. So upcoming health department events. Health department has so many events that they put out for the community, so I want to make sure to spotlight those and continue to get those out there for the community to enjoy. EMS interns, and then a med unit. There is a course coming up in September. Elections is going to be the major one until everything is finished. So I will also be helping as an opener and closer for election night. So I will be pretty heavy in that process there. Website refresh for multiple departments. I've had some departments reach out and want a refresh for theirs, or just get a better viewing from people on their website. So slowly working at that. Working with finance eventually to get an ARPA funds update. I think that's something important to put out, just so they know kind of how those funds were spent. The recognition program coming up on Monday, the award, as well as the main page of the website. It looked great. There was a few things that I have changed so far to get our news flashes to the top of the page. That way, as soon as you get on our page, you see what news we want you to see. There'll be some maybe movement in the buttons to make it a little bit more accessible, but nothing major that will happen. We do have a lot of white blank space because of those menus. So I'm working with them to see if we can maybe make that a little bit medium gray, because when you first get to the website, it can be kind of in your face there. So we're working on slow things like that. That'll just make it more enjoyable to be on our website. And then KSNT, we're going to bring back every third Friday of the month, having a different department go up and speak to get Riley County really recognized statewide. So I'll be getting with all different departments to see who'd be the lucky winner to
That's
go.
on the morning show, right? Okay.
And then increase the usability of the calendar on the main page of the website. So we currently do have a calendar of events at the bottom of the web page. There's nothing on it. I think that is important that we need to put things on there. So I want to fill that calendar. I'm working with the website because they're not quite sure. So they're getting with a different team on the website to teach me how to input and take out events as needed on that calendar. So that way we really do have a calendar of events for the community to access. And then any new business that arises in between. I have done several press releases so far with the assistance of Rich to help get those approved. So that way we can really get the ball rolling. So I have done several of those, but I did want to hit the ground running whenever I came in, and I believe that I have done so. Probably need to slow down a bit, but that is just not who I am. So I probably hit up a lot of the departments far too often than they would like, but I just want to make sure I'm getting that information out for the community and everybody involved. That's all I had for you today. You have any questions for me?
When is that ribbon cutting scheduled, or is it?
They have a tentative date right now, but I want to get that confirmed before I send it to news places and everybody else. So I want to get with Russell before I get that out, but there is a tentative date set, I believe so.
Cause I was gone, I didn't know if you
Yeah,
said it.
yeah, I think they're getting there.
Okay.
Yep.
I think we discussed sometime in middle to late August, wasn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
Some ways that pops into my brain, but that doesn't mean it's right either.
Yeah.
Yeah, so once I have that, I'll make sure to get it out to everybody as well.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. And I've sent this. I never got them. I did send a copy. That said, I know this is new, just to let you know. Yeah. It's a little more. I can keep forward pieces, so read through. Yes. And the book from the includes. Yeah. Yeah. Weeks when she was here. Yeah. Yeah. I figured that. See how far this goes.
Wow. Okay.
Well.
Well, the American Bar Association in their summer journal had an article on the firing of Coach Tang.
What'd they say?
Split of opinion.
Yeah, figures.
Yeah. Right. So.
That's still ongoing too, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's no lawsuit yet. I don't know if it gets that far.
I think they're probably trying to negotiate something behind
Yeah.
closed doors, would be my
Oh,
guess.
I'm sure. brief conversation.
So now it goes back to kind of athletic department thinking, you know, after the first year was like greatest thing to coaches world. Let's keep him for 10 years. And it's like, well, we need to have some, you know, I understand extending it maybe a little, but
Yeah.
we try to keep him from going to Arkansas too. And you know, it's just hard to compete. And when it goes bad fast usually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had absolutely no idea what to expect from this year's team. I just don't.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he started off strong,
Yeah.
and that's. It's hot
Um,
now, good.
He's lucky in the fact that he had a pretty good senior,
Mhm.
couple seniors with leadership, and he brought in a couple of very good energetic players. Fill in, and I think their goal was to try to get the top rated players in the country in and just let the talent take over, and that never really transpired really, yeah. I think they lost every single one of those,
Maybe not the best way to build natural.
you know. Particularly because what's gonna happen is let's say they're all American that first year, they're gonna go someplace else where the money is.
Exactly.
So you got, yeah. It's like this coach has a different perspective of try to build a team. It's gonna be here for a couple of years at least, you know,
I sure hope
and
so.
build a solid foundation.
He's usually hasn't changed
No,
in having 15 or 20 years. He's still the same character.
I've learned to just enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, even the announcers on my side,
Yeah.
effect, he talks to everybody
Yeah.
all the time. He's talking to the other coaches, talking to the players. He's enjoying himself.
He is. That'd be quite the treat to come back to Bramlage and just play, you know,
Yeah.
more than just a scrimmage or something, you know.
I saw
It's a
that.
little nostalgic.
So email that Poland sent something saying why, explain why.
Yeah. He wanted Frank Martin back or something.
Well, no, but no, he was, well, that's the other thing, is somebody said, why isn't his jersey in rafters? And he said, because he wants Frank back, and Frank's busy coaching right now. But he wants him and a couple of the other players back when it happens. But no, he gave reasons for why he couldn't play this year. Because it didn't make sense.
So is he still playing overseas?
I think so.
Okay. Followed it, I guess.
I thought him and also Barry Brown, I would have thought he'd have been coming back to play, but.
Barry's still playing overseas too. And one of the leagues that plays during the summer, so it probably did disallows them too.
Yeah.
And we've got 3 playing summer league this year too. Of course, Dean Wade signed that contract
Yeah,
extension.
well, he's.
Yeah, he's good to go. Good for him. It's a good story.
It makes you wonder if he had struggled so much here and then moved there. Well, same way. It was Snead, not Snead, one of those players.
The one dude.
No, one of the ones that was playing for him, that only was here for a year, didn't do much, so another school took off.
Oh,
Can't remember which one it was, but.
you ready for Bob?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Morning, Commissioners. Riley County Planning and Development recommended that action be taken by the Board of County Commissioners to administratively rezone an unplatted tract of land from county zoning designation AG agricultural district to I-1 light industrial. The subject property is generally located approximately 1,500 feet south of Pillsbury Drive on the west side of McDowell Creek Road, all in Manhattan Township. And if you're from the area at all, you will recognize, you will know where this is.
I was just thinking.
The subject property, as mentioned in the description, is a 5.9 acre unplatted tract zone AG agricultural district. Although the site is within the Manhattan urban area, it is not, however, within the Manhattan urban service area.
That's where they do car auctions, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's a towing service
Yeah.
at this point. So, and they do that to keep the,
The gentleman just passed away too.
exactly,
Yeah.
just last Monday.
Yeah.
The site is a former A1 auto salvage yard, but it is currently developed with a towing and storage facility that has been in business since about 1982. Some background on the property may help explain how the property zoning, this zoning dilemma. The subject property was part of two tracts that were rezoned from single-family residential and general agricultural to heavy industrial in 1959. And that's there you see outlined in red and white checkers. The subject site was already being used as an auto wrecking yard at the time in 1959. In 1974, several properties, including the subject site, were rezoned from heavy industrial to the newly created floodplain zoning district, which with the base zoning being general agricultural, creating several legal nonconformity properties in the process. In other words, it was not a overlay like you see it is now. It was an actual zoning district. So in 1982, they got smart to that and converted the zoning district, the floodplain zoning district, to an overlay district. Although the base zoning designation of the properties did not automatically revert to the original heavy industrial zoning, it reverted to an agricultural district. The county decided to administratively rezone Schilling's concrete plant tract back to heavy industrial. That's what you see in purple. In 1986, the county also administratively rezoned Schilling's asphalt plant tract back to heavy industrial, meaning they thought it was included in the 1982 rezoning of Schilling's other tract. There was a mistake there. A little later in 1988, the county approved a request to rezone a sliver of land located between the two Schilling properties back to heavy industrial as well. During the same hearings, the Planning Board and Board of County Commissioners denied a request from Mr. Oppie to rezone his property back to heavy industrial. No reason for denial was found in our records. There was some speculation as to why, though. Thus, the use of the property continued as a legal nonconformity as it is today. In 1995, the property north of the subject site was included as part of the Fairmont Park, or part of Fairmont Park, which has the boat canoe launch to the Kansas River. And this is what we have left. That's your subject property there. And the property is currently zoned AG Agricultural District. That hasn't changed, shown in gray, and has been since 1982. The purple color on the map indicates the heavy industrial zoning, with the exception of this tract up here, which is zoned University. Recently, the property owner inquired as to the status of the subject property, suspecting that the property was rezoned at some point without his knowledge. Staff investigated the inquiry and discovered that the property was indeed an office legal nonconformity, but it wasn't terribly obvious that it was. Some serious digging and putting pieces together was necessary to make that determination. Thus, it was recommended by the director of Raleigh County Planning and Development that the property should be administratively rezoned back to industrial to prevent future confusion regarding whether the current use of the property is allowed or not. Staff recommended that since the current use is more a towing and storage business rather than an auto salvage or junkyard, the light industrial zoning designation should be utilized rather than going back to the heavy industrial zoning designation.
Those aren't allowed anymore by state statute, correct? Unless your grandfather salvage.
Oh, yeah, sure. In heavy industrial, sure. So moving on from that, Raleigh County Fire District Number 1 will continue to serve the site. The nearest county fire station is the Konza Valley Fire Station and will serve as the primary responder located at 300 Johnson Road. The subject property is located within 5 road miles of a fire station with ISO rating of 6. So the property abuts the Kansas River, as you know, and it's actually classified as a fourth order stream trending from north to south. The site is subject to the standards set forth in section 6.3 riparian buffer of the Riley County Land Development Regulation. And I wanted to point this out too. You'll see this in the comprehensive plan, future land use map here. This is, I'm gonna move up so you can see the wooded area here that's not being used as part of the business or it's storage of cars and vehicles and things like that. And it just so happens, yep, that's the in the shaded area green, that's the floodway. There's some concern about locating things in the floodway. Of course, it's sitting outside it, and that's the red hatch pattern called the floodway fringe. And in this particular case, it's the 1% annual chance flood, which is part of the regulatory flood plan. That hasn't changed, by the way.
Any recollection of how much that actually does flood?
Excuse me?
Is there any data or anything that shows how much that does or doesn't flood?
The last time it flooded was 1993.
That's what I figured.
And they had plenty of time. They removed all the stuff. It flooded, and when the waters receded, they moved everything back. So the request was also, as most rezoning requests, a review with the comprehensive plan. In this particular case, it was the Manhattan Urban Area Comprehensive Plan. It's their jurisdiction. Future land use map indicates that the subject site is projected for agricultural, with a portion of the site as environmentally sensitive. And you can see the hatch pattern here along the far west portion of the property. And that's where the floodplain or floodway is. The rest does not conform with the classification suggested by the future land use map. However, it would be nearly impractical for the site to be used for agricultural purposes due to its size and location. And as per the development guidance system, land evaluation site assessment was completed to test the appropriateness for rezoning from agricultural to non-ag or residential. According to the final score of the LISA, the subject property achieved 4,737 points, which is good for strong for development. No bonus points were factored into the analysis. Just a couple pics of the site. This is standing near the southeastern corner of the property, just off the eastern edge of McDowell Creek Road. Although not opaque, the site is fenced in its entirety. The majority of the storage of vehicles takes place on the southern half of the tract shown here, while the northern portion of the tract is used primarily for overflow as needed. And as of now, there's no vehicles in that lot. And one more
Is
shot.
that property using city or county utilities?
Rural water and on-site septic.
Oh, okay.
And this is the site in relation to McDowell Creek Road. There are two existing points of egress to the site. One directly in front of the storage office buildings that you see here, and one just to the north that accesses that overflow lot. And there is access between this tract and the north tract without going out onto McDowell Creek Road. So on July 6th, the Manhattan Urban Area Planning Board unanimously recommended approval of the request to the Board of County Commissioners. Staff recommends the Board of County Commissioners also approve the request to rezone the property from agricultural district to light industrial, as it has been determined that the rezoning is compatible with the zoning of uses of nearby properties. The subject property is not suitable for uses allowed by the current zoning. And the rezoning is generally compatible with the character of the neighborhood. That completes my presentation. If you have any questions for me, I'm glad to field those for you.
Given the setup. I'm gonna make a motion to approve the request to rezone the subject property from AG Agricultural District to I1 Light Industrial and approve the associated development site plan.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the resolution amending the zoning map concerning real State of Manhattan Township from Agricultural District, AG to II Light Industrial, and approve the associated development site plan. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mylar out there or no?
No Mylar on this one.
Okay. I guess it would be there now anyway, never mind.
Right.
We're not doing enough of these anymore, Bob.
On Monday, I'll
Oh,
Yeah,
I
he's
spoke
got-
too
you got-
soon.
Yeah, look at it. There's that-
I really spoke too soon. Oh, man.
Three did you have three on the list? on that?
I thought I saw just one, but maybe it was in 3 different segments. Going through the checklist.
Start turning everything off.
Yes.
You probably don't want to hear my pager going off and listen to people talk.
And while we're waiting, David, I got a question for you.
Sure.
No, I'm sorry. We're not about debt. That's fine.
I had a joke, but I,
Oh. I probably have one too.
That one is one burned off the small.
Sure, and
Read
this
it.
is then by programs, this is by
Oh.
fund. And this is the total.
This one I've got. They're good enough, but these couldn't print off something legible. on that.
And you just print it off, but give me the full deal now. All right, so I'm getting, this is our. Okay, I got it,
And
okay,
then this is detailed by fund because there's some of the grant funds.
okay,
But this is, one of the
Cindy.
commissioners that asked us to fit in
Good.
like the
Yourself?
program.
okay.
So this is the program. It makes it, there's so many funds that go into each program. that-
Mhm.
I don't want to really-
Nope, I'm bombing.
I got them up here. Thank you, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that, but it's cut off. I
mean, it isn't.
Lighten it up there a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
All right. Do you want to convene as the Board of Health? Or is this as a, or is this,
We have to-
do we have to convene as Board of
Yes,
Health?
we do.
Oh,
I mean,
Uh,
reorganization, so
Right.
is that county or Board of Health?
Well, you're applying to us as the Board of County Health, so yeah, that would count.
is that right? That's what.
This is
The motion is.
Commissioner of the Board of Health.
Yeah.
Play it safe.
Motion to recess
Yeah.
as the Board of County Commissioners and convene as the Board of Health.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Commissioners and reconvene as the Board of County Health. All in favor?
Aye.
Since it's just over the health department, should be fine. You just do it.
Yeah, it wasn't
Board of
listed
Health.
on the sheet here, but
Yeah. I don't think it hurts.
there's that whole setup is vague.
Yeah.
I think it's by design, so.
All right, good morning, Commissioners. David Adams, Interim Director, Raleigh County Health Department. Commissioners, I'm just like I did about a year ago with the merging of emergency services. I'm here to ask you to rethink Riley County Health Department and how it operates and how it is run. So as we've worked through this process over the last several months, and as I've been the interim director, I believe that through identifying inefficiencies in the using of technology, partnerships with other stakeholders, both within and without, outside of Riley County government, And collaborating and streamlining with the department itself, we can operate at a high level while keeping the costs to our taxpayers as reasonable as possible. Recommendations before you today result in a cost savings of $660,930 from the approved 2026 budget and include service revisions. Two of the required changes include relocating multiple divisions from the FCRC building to the Health Department main building to create crossover of services. It also requires a change the system of management with the assistant director and changes to the 6 division coordinators. Riley County Health Department supervisors are doing jobs they are not trained to perform. We have a lack of senior leadership, which lends itself to decision-making, which falls short of your expectations. As remind you, 3 of the last 4 health department directors have not been successful, while the last 5 clinic supervisors have also not been successful. Supervisors are reporting being overwhelmed with their workloads and are routinely asked for work outside of their education and training. The budget presented captures multiple staffing changes, most through open positions and natural attrition, which create a reduced budget request of significant cost savings of approximately, again, $660,930, including the position of assistant director. So at this point, commissioners, I'm going to turn this over to Elizabeth Ward, Director of Human Resources, as she has been my point person in helping with this, going through this process and evaluating data, meeting with supervisors, understanding what the health department does, and helping to identify ways in which we can do things better.
Commissioners, we wanted to just go through our rationale, not just the brush note stroke numbers. And so I have given you and did include in here a couple of things. So org chart, I do need to tell you there is one very part-time position missing in this org chart. It's in WIC. It is 780 hours of a breastfeeding peer counsel. It is funded by WIC. And right now it's a combined position. The interpreter and the breastfeeding peer counsel are one person. We're suggesting to discontinue the interpreter, but keep that 780-hour breastfeeding peer counselor, which is in the budget. It's in the numbers. It's included in the numbers. I forgot to put it in the org chart. You can see where I've got the interpreter highlighted lilac, but it's a separate job duty that we had, kind of a unique situation where we had one person doing 2 jobs. Okay. So one thing that's important, I think, from the beginning, and actually, let me just point out, I think something that's really important that David didn't hit on is that we use this criteria. You have asked for several years now for all the departments to look at what things are statutorily required. So we did that analysis in front. Then I believe you asked about how it's funded, right? What is grant funded? What is fee funded? So then that leaves what portion is the taxpayer responsibility. We then also included what is meeting the needs of the community. And so one of the commissioners had expressly stated, we need to make sure that what we're providing is what the community is demanding and needing. So we do that through those community needs surveys and those kinds of things. And we need to tie our operations back to that. And then we looked at, okay, all of those things being met, how can we operate more efficiently? How can we cross positions so that, for example, one of the suggestions is to take our nurses out of MCH only and put them in the clinic and have some portion MCH and some portion clinic services, but we'll combine those and wrap around the client as one service. So in a funding matrix of what we have proposed, you can see here that only state formula is statutorily required. We need to be upfront about that. And then you can see this is kind of distilled down. I've given you guys more detailed, so fund by fund, and then what is funded by grant, what is funded by fee, and what is funded by taxpayer. I kind of put all of those other fundings besides taxpayer into that second column. So you can see how much of each portion of each service is funded. And then you can see the cost that is the general fund. And the last part is where we would suggest some reductions. We do have kind of step-by-step things to talk about with that, and then decisions for you to make. You can make these wholesale as the whole proposal. You can make them each individual proposed change, kind of a la carte, as we say. So here's what we looked at. Here's our matrix. this is the amount, I think that is, to me, is really important. We focused on is how much is transferred from the general fund so that they're taxpayer dollars. And then that seems too big, but, all right. Same stuff here, same recommendations. So now we get down into what we looked into, what is the value? We heard definitely say like, what is our mission? What are we trying to do? And what part is the county's responsibility? So we went through all of those things, the operational efficiency, the financial impact, and then we have made a recommendation for each division. I do want to state, David alluded to it, but all of these conversations have been in conjunction with the supervisory staff and some, if not all, because we cannot get everybody together in a short period of time, but that supervisory staff has been conversing with their staff. So this is not something that the health department has not heard of and not something that the supervisors don't understand at this point. So our recommendations include eliminating or considering elimination either now or in the future of those boxes that are highlighted lilac. Some of them are through attrition. Some of them are through the position being open currently. So we will go through each individual division, and then we've got the funding to match it. So childcare licensing, you know that they last fiscal year, they lost some funding. You determined to remove them from the 5 counties to serve Riley County.
Well, they didn't technically lose funding. It's just that we were funding other counties that.
Well, their funding also had gone down. We were
Okay.
subsidizing more and more of what they were.
Ours here in the county.
We were funding more and more of all of that. So you would determine, hey, we're not going to do anything outside of Riley County. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So our
I'm gonna make that
funding
clarification.
had kind of not kept up with our spend with across all the 5 counties, including Riley County. So we went from, they already have gone from there. They brought 1 staff person down. So they now have a 3-person staff. Realistically, when they presented to you, they mentioned that they have things that they would like to do, but not a caseload for 3 people. So either now or in the future, one of the recommendations or one of the thoughts that you can consider is moving 1 person down, to a coordinator and 1 childcare licensing person. I do want to add that the state has been taking over those other 4 counties. They've been putting things in place. David is reaching out. Heather has had conversations. We don't know how the other counties are being covered with childcare licensing.
Well, they have the opportunity to work with us and still, I just want to be clear on that. We didn't just cut them off completely. We had conversations with them. They didn't want to pick up the tab for those services, so now the state is.
That is true. And there is a new director in that position, which is the Office of Early Childhood Development. Yeah, it's a different
amazing.
office.
They're supposed to be through DCF, but yet KDHE is.
Well, and yeah, they moved out of KDHE and into this new, what they're calling it. And so there's a new director and all of that I would say is in flux. I know that's just background to your Riley County decisions. Raising Riley, we do believe there's efficiencies there, but honestly, we have not dug into all of their processes and they are, 90% funded. And so at this point, our recommendation is not to make any changes, although we accept the coordinator position. WIC, we moved, if we reduce through attrition 1 WIC clerk, which we would expect in 27, and we reduce currently a part-time interpreter who has resigned her position, they would then be 100% funded. And for all of our clinics, so all of the clinics that we have that provide WIC.
That includes Fort Riley.
It does include Fort Riley. Yes. MCH, we have some changes. They have actually already gone down 1 nurse position. That nurse was moved over to the clinic. And so we've got some synergies here, which David mentioned. If we can get these 3 in the same building, we will have the ability to cover services and wrap around a client. So the recommendation now is to remove 1 more nurse and replace that with a community health worker. A community health worker, I don't have a grade for that, but the community health worker is 2 things. It's a much lower grade position, can provide many of the services that a social worker or a nurse has been providing and is billable. So that will increase our ability to bill where we're not able to do that with a nurse, and we'll then continue to see the same number of clients. Clinic, these changes were made already. So this is exactly where they're standing. No necessarily any changes. Again, all of these positions would become coordinators with this health department assistant director taking on all of the administrative, compliance, statutory
medical clerk, that's actually on our payroll, or is that
On our-
something that we had contracted?
No payroll.
It is,
They're
okay.
our employees.
Okay.
Yep. And then the administrative division, we have had a resignation as well in the opioid prevention specialist. And we are recommending that we combine those jobs, that opioid prevention, into the health educator position. So, and to put a name to that, that's Shanika's position. So she has been doing that in the past. She would continue those programs, but without a extra person and doing those jobs, a part-time person doing that. So that's really what the org chart would look like as we propose it. When we go through these, here's specific breakdown of budget and funding. Brittany, so each supervisor, David, myself, and Brittany have all gone through this very carefully to make sure that the grant funding, there's not going to be a decrease in grant funding as long as we maintain the services, and we expect this amount.
You sure on that one? I mean, that's federally funded.
It's federally funded and it's
Level
by the
funded.
number of clients that we see.
Okay.
WIC is by the number of clients that we see.
For now.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I can only tell you what the,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah, that's, I mean, a very good point. But we can only tell you what the current situation
We
is.
won't
yeah.
know that until late September if we know that at all.
Yeah, and we've already put all of these in, all of these have been
Okay.
requested, whether they're state or direct federal.
Okay.
So Raising Riley, you can see the situation there for funding, MCH,
What, that,
oh, sorry.
on that one, you said it requires 15% match, but we only do a 10% now.
Yeah, so this is gonna be, some of it is going to be in kind, some of it's going to be our
Oh, and-
building and those kinds of things as well. Yeah. Yeah. So, and that is, I will tell you, Brittany had told us she wouldn't be here today. She's gone through everything. I've verified everything with her. She is on point, but those are going to be more details that she can help explain to us too. Definitely not doing this in a silo without the experts. Here's MCH. MCH is maybe the most complicated funding source because it has multiple different funding sources. But we still get to the same bottom line there. Clinic has the 3 funding sources, well, 4, including the county general. And so here's where we're at on that. They also, I will point out, one of the things with Clinic is we have projected a significant increase in their fee revenue.
My question, yeah.
Yeah. And that if we get a budget approved and if we are able to move forward, we actually we're looking at several areas where we can go to a fee service. We'd have to bring it to you, but where is there potential for a fee, and are we competitive with our fees? You know, we've been looking at Leavenworth and Johnson and Dickinson, thank you, to see how they're collecting. You know, we know Leavenworth being smaller than us is one thing, but what they do is bill efficiently.
When you say small, you mean?
Their health department services are smaller. Yeah, they have other large health departments in close proximity. So that makes a little difference, right? Because our clients would have to travel to Topeka to get some of these same services where they've got some other services close. But some of the things we can take from them is they bill very efficiently. They have all of their immunizations 100% funded with their fees. And so what do we need to do? And I don't know if you want to mention just Josh's systematic.
So when it comes to the billing, it's in the clinic, but it's also going to express outside of that is I've asked Josh Goering, the division chief for EMS, who is a very systems oriented individual who also understands the billing side of things as he runs the billing for EMS. I've asked him to spend a considerable amount of time first inside the clinic. And he's looking at all processes from check-in to the documentation that is involved with the patients or the clients, if you will, to make sure that the documentation meets standards for billing. And then with our billing and coding specialist to make sure that her processes are in line and everything is put into SOPs, standard operating procedures, so that everybody knows what the process is, so that we can be more systematic. We're not right now. It's just a broken system, and he's going to streamline all of that, put it in writing, work with them, and get this implemented. So, as she mentioned, we've talked with Leavenworth, Kayla Mathis, the interim clinic lead, and Josh will be going to Leavenworth, and Kayla is going to look at on the clinic side how they do patient care and how they do the documentation. Josh is going to work with the clerks and the billers and coders to understand how they do it, because they do it incredibly efficiently. And they've been very gracious to us, and they're going to host Josh and Kayla here in a couple weeks and really understand their processes so we can take those back and put those in with our system and our processes so that we do it better.
So I guess here's my question on that. You said they're doing it efficiently, but they're doing it at a very, very smaller scope. So how many more grants do we have than them in comparison to services provided? Because that's part of the issue, whether we want to admit it or not.
Well, it's when we're talking about over there, I don't know exactly how many grants they have, but what they're looking at is just their processes.
Okay.
So that's really what they're focused on, is how do you do the intake with the clients? You know, what does that process look like? And then when the nurses see the clients, how are they documenting, and what kind of information are they gathering that maybe we're not gathering? And then when it goes to their billing, what does their biller coder use, and what processes do they use? And if they have questions with the nurses, how do they go about doing that? And then it goes back to the checkout, right? Because a checkout is very important in any healthcare system, about making sure that all of the information is correct, make sure that they have all the demographic information, the insurance and such from the clients, so that we'll make sure if there are co-pays to be recovered, that we know that and we recover those co-pays right up front, which is something that has been hit and miss within our health department. So that's what they're looking at, and he's going to look at all of those. And it's really not tied to the grants. It's tied to the workflow and the processes.
And the number of clients we can see. Here's the thing we've discovered in the clinic in particular, and it may be in other areas, but clinic revenue is such a float. There is no system in the clinic. The nurses are kind of working in a silo. The billing is working in a silo. The med clerks are working in a silo, but no one can bill if those are not all in the same system. So, you know, our med clerks don't know how much they can charge because they don't have the information about the insurance. Our billing and coding person gets denials because the nurses don't have the right documentation. The nurses they're putting in what they think they should put in, but it's not matching what billing needs to have. And so this whole thing, in order to be fixed, has to have a system that is working together, or we can't capture the billing.
Coordination is really important, because
one relies on the other.
Situations where the code is wrong and then they get denied, and nobody knows what the right codes are,
and everyone's frustrated. All three of these things are frustrated because they all want to do their job well, but one isn't matching the other.
Yeah, it's a mess.
So we're really starting from scratch. I mean, in rebuilding this, and Josh is working with them. They're very open with him and talking with him, but this is going to take time. This is not something we're going to fix in 30 days, but Josh has done a lot of background work. He's learned a lot, and he has had meetings already. And he has a plan and laid out. We met last week and kind of walked through it, and I received some of his initial thoughts, if you will. And also he has found some areas where we could probably bill higher. There are programs that we're not signed up for that we're eligible to. So this is going to take some time. I just want to make sure that you understand that, but it's going to be done right. And we're going to maximize efficiency, and we're going to maximize all of the different opportunities for funding that we can.
But increasing revenue, a lot of that is through insurance things, I guess, is the clients we're serving there don't have extra cash for us to get revenue from. So how does that work?
Currently, the way I understand it, we're not contracted with any insurance companies.
No.
So that's the first area where we're going to start. So we'll be able to have better insurance coverage that we can bill. And then another section is that there are just some services that we're just not billing. Just haven't been. So that's an area where we can maximize revenue, and not just in the clinic. I believe that there are some opportunities in some other divisions. So, but we've got to get on board with the insurance companies. So that's where it is.
Because our clients don't have $500,000 extra.
No, absolutely. No, sir. But
it's kind of
but that's how we're gonna go about it.
And Medicaid and all of that
Medicaid,
stuff.
yeah, well,
Get-
absolutely,
get-
yeah,
Get
there's,
those things better in line.
well, Medicaid, whether it's VA, private insurance, because there are people who come in with private insurance. But if we're not contracted with them, that makes it very, very difficult. So, just all of those things.
And I
Can you
guess
look
for the
at the
client
sliding
versus-
scale?
And then the sliding scale, yeah, we're gonna, that needs to be updated.
Mhm.
And everybody needs to be educated on it and how it works. So, I believe last year we were charging for immunizations that was less than what it cost us. So,
But also less than what other public health agencies. So
Absolutely.
the point of the client fees, right now, we're charging less than many of the other public health services, which is significantly less than private. And when we're not even asking for the client to pay a portion, so we're not asking for millions of dollars, but we're asking for, it depends on the fee, some amount, like, or their copay if they have insurance. And if they're not paid, we have not actually finished registration in the debt set-off program. So if they don't get paid, we're not even sending it. So there's a lot of things where we can capture revenue. Yeah. And to his point, clinic is the start focus, but the same efficiencies are being looked at across all 6 divisions. Okay, and then CCL, you can see on your paper, CCL is the least funded position or least funded division, mostly funded through general fund. And so that is a place where we're asking you to make a decision one way or the other. We can still come in under the 26 budget if you continue full staff on this program. And we've included a cut of 1 position. So that will be a decision that you'll need to make. Admin services administration has always been something that is, general fund. It's the same with the county administrator. It's part of administering all these things. So there's definitely a cost to all of the services we provide. So quick overview of our recommendations. And you guys got a big document rationalizing all of these things, but we are recommending reducing 1 dietitian. Well, we did reduce 1 dietitian in 26, recommending reducing a WIC clerk through attrition and to reduce the interpreter, which is currently open. Raising Riley, supervisor to coordinator, hold that person's pay rate as those job responsibilities have changed. And in 2028, start considering shared services and how we can combine and be more efficient there. So I guess one thing we did not state is that this is not for us, you guys have been talking about looking at budgets throughout for 28 and 29. That's the direction we've taken. So we are trying to say, okay, let's get this on 27 and then let's get right back in there so we can look at efficiencies across the health department for 28 as well and hopefully future. Clinic reduce the interpreter and projecting increases in revenue based on the biller and the billing. In MCH, we reduced 1 social worker in 26, and we would like to convert the nurse to a community health worker that can be billed and shared nursing services with clinic. CCL, this is the only position that we're asking you to consider reducing a person who is in the job. That's a hard decision. And with everything being in flux, I don't know where we stand in our community. Childcare is one of our biggest needs in the community. Having functioning childcare is massively important. So I know that's something to consider. So those are our recommendations. And I think at this point you have a lot of information, but I guess we would just stand for questions.
I know, you said some of those, I think from our thing today, there's 3 temporary coordinators or something.
Correct.
But I thought I've heard some of those people aren't wanting to be the full-time coordinators. Is that, because if it is, then you got to hire someone and get rid of someone.
What they're telling us, and one talked to us yesterday, in the current system, if we continue with this current system, then no, they don't, because they're overwhelmed. And as I said in my beginning, they're doing things that they're not trained to do. And so if we hire an assistant director like we are recommending, then I think we can retain them. If not, we're going to lose them because they can't do the job.
Right, I understand. That's what I was just saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're filling that position now on your chart, but.
And still seeing clients.
But you're saying under what we've got now, they don't want to keep doing that.
I think we'll lose.
But they're okay with the new system.
Yes. Yes, I believe so. She's had conversations with him. I have, and you know, I've told him you're gonna have to cut back a little bit right now and not see as many clients, which is very difficult for them. I mean, that's who they are, but we had one yesterday just says, this is unsustainable.
And said, and literally sat in the office and said, if all those administrative tasks don't go to the assistant director, I cannot do this job. I mean, literally is what she said. So,
Yes.
and we said, well, we don't know what will happen tomorrow, so we'll regroup at that point, right? So.
Yeah, are all these, the workload or the patient load, are they all from Riley County, or are we still having to hold over some other counties?
Well, that's a little bit of a difficult question to answer. So for WIC, the state law says if you are enrolled in WIC, any WIC program has to see you. Yeah, so there's not a lot, but there are some. I mean, with students and graduate students and things like that, or so some of them, they have to see those clients. Some of the others, it depends on each service. Some of them are state grants, you know, or in federal grants. So I can't answer that right off the top of my head unless you've looked at the data.
No, I agree. We can't answer it specifically, but that is one of the areas we want to continue to look at. We did gather, and I included in your large packet, the number of clients or patients that they're seeing. That has not been, we've not been able to analyze the efficiency there yet. So part of like when he's talking about going to Leavenworth, when the clinic coordinator goes, we need to see if we're seeing efficiently as many clients and patients that we can with 3 nurses and an APRN, for example. And I think the same needs to hold true for MCH, et cetera. And I just pick out, I mean, all the divisions, make sure we're actually impacting. And the other thing that I think is really important to look at moving forward, if you approve this budget, is tying what we're doing back to the community needs, right? And so we have not, and I keep saying we now, because I feel like I'm just part of the health department. So
Well, she is almost there.
But I mean, I agree, I'm all in with them. We have to make sure everything, I've told them for years, everything they do is wonderful. Their programs are wonderful. They help people's lives. And also, we have to make sure that it is matching the need that our taxpayers are saying is happening in our county. So
That's the problem right there.
Yeah.
That's one of the 3 glaring issues that we have,
Mhm.
is we don't really know what the community wants, so we can't tailor a vision or a purpose for this department based off of that. I know we did a community needs assessment in 1920, but unfortunately that came on the heels of a historic pandemic, so we really didn't. 2020. I'm trying to forget 2020, so I do that in. But it extended past that though too.
yeah,
Sure.
and we've got
And we finished that up and we did a great job with it. Everybody was involved. The community was involved in that.
Mhm.
But we were not able to see that through due to obviously other priorities at the time.
Right.
When those priorities were at the end, we didn't come back to it. We went on to other things.
Mhm.
Now we've put that on hold and put that on hold. Everything's justifiable there. It's not personnel doing something wrong,
yeah.
but we need that information first. I mean, I know we're trying to make decisions here for budget. I get that, but if we don't know where we're going to go at this point in time. There's no vision, there's no direction forward without it.
Well, there is,
And these-
vision, but we don't have the community needs survey yet.
Right.
I talked to Shanika about that, and the timeline for that is it's supposed to end August 1st. So they've contracted it, and just to be clear, like the community needs survey is not a Riley County only. We
Right.
participate, right? So that's the Flint Hills. And WSU is contracted to do that. Debbie has put the deadline is August 1st, which means they will gather data, they will aggregate the data, and really means that we will not have listening sessions with the community until April. We'll have raw data, and then we will have kind of town hall listening sessions. And one of the things we suggested is utilizing Vanessa as our PIO to really get that information out, do something similar to like when planning and development did their listening sessions in the communities. That is their vision, and what can we do to increase participation so that we get real information from citizens on what they need. And then all of the departments have heard us say, we are going to make sure our services match those needs.
Mhm.
So we have to be able to move forward and operate and then continue. This is not, to me, this is dynamic.
Oh,
This is not a
absolutely. Yeah.
standstill.
Yeah, this is going to take time, you know,
I
so,
don't
but it'll
disagree.
be,
So this is kind of what we think right now, but going through the needs stuff next year, it may change again until, or not change, but maybe there's some fine tuning once you hear.
I think fine tuning is the right way of saying it. I don't think there's gonna be wholesale changes, but there's gonna be some, we may see that we need more, we may have a bigger issue or a need in maternal child health. And maybe not as much with raising Riley. We just don't
And
know.
we're just proposed, we're just picking out a name.
Yeah, I'm just pulling those out of thin air,
But
so.
we kinda took I think we tried to take your intention when you were talking about the other budgets and starting again right away in September and
Yep.
really keeping that efficiency going. And that's what we've expressed to staff. Like
Yeah.
after this, we're not done. We have to then continue to work to bring this all together. And honestly, it's part of the reason we really are pushing for the move into the HD admin building, because just the physical location makes us think about our services differently.
Mhm.
And how are we doing? We keep saying wrap around the client instead of saying, well, MCH, clinic, we're health department services. And what does that person need and what do they go to?
And yeah, what office right down the hall do they go to?
Yeah.
So, or go back to the clerks who are housed together. And now I need to meet with this clerk from this organization or this program to get signed up. So,
Or we've cross-trained our
Or
clerks.
cross-trained our clerks to
Our
do-
long-term vision is we will cross-train our clerks. They're
Right.
not that now. So we can have a
Right.
central check-in, which
Mhm.
may, not to scare anyone, reduce our clerk staff,
Right.
but that'll be another
That-
change in the future.
Yeah,
There-
you were saying that, and I know that the WIC program, they can come from anywhere.
correct.
How does that work in billing though? I mean, that to me is kind of confusing.
Yeah, it is confusing, but they have an identification number.
Okay.
So every client who comes in to any part of the health department, they have an identification number. So they bill back to that identification number.
Okay.
So they can be from Wichita seen here, but we bill WIC, the grants, the programs back to that number.
But it also, just to be quick, doesn't do billing. If you look at your revenue chart, that is funded federally
Mhm.
and they don't have a service fee
Right.
associated. So the WIC doesn't do billing and the other services do. And we are looking at exactly what have we put in our grant application as far as do we see Riley County only? And then how do we modify that moving forward?
In these other programs.
Yeah, in the other programs.
Yes.
Yeah, and when we're looking for a new health department director and also assistant director, how are they gonna have to work into what you've already developed, or are they gonna help?
They're gonna have to help, we're gonna keep moving forward with synergies, with moving of staff, and programs, and realigning our processes. We're gonna go ahead and keep moving forward.
And then they're gonna work with David.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think in this model, the first focus is to hiring a health department director.
Mhm.
So as soon as we know what that looks like, Michelle and I will finish a draft of a job description for you, bring it up, get it filled. And David will then, in my mind, David will work with that person to transition these things.
Mhm.
They'll have a health department. They would have had a health department anyhow, but now they'll have a health department that looks a little different. And then they will come in and make those dynamic changes for the future. And
They'll come
hopefully
in and
work.
hire the
The assistant director.
We also need a
Correct.
description on that.
We do.
position.
Absolutely. And Michelle has put a couple things together already drafted, but
Yeah, because those two are really important. Those two things
Yeah,
people are really
That's gonna
important.
make it work.
that's gonna make.
Yeah, the status
can't do
quo,
it
status
forever.
quo doesn't work, and I can't do this forever. No, ma'am. I've got,
Well,
you know.
and he can't do both these things. Like right now, Brittany is doing a lot. Michelle is doing a lot of the personnel management as you guys set that up with David and Michelle. He's being really a true administrator over the decisions, but you've got a lot of hands in there helping make it work forward.
I don't agree on the assistant director position. I'm sorry. I think we need to we're trying to put the cart in front of the horse and we don't even have the horse. For lack of a better analogy. I think we need to get a director in place, collectively work with that individual, what those things are needed and accepted. And maybe down the road it is, but let's get the leadership in there in place and figure out what that's going to entail at this point in time.
Well, I respect what you're saying, Commissioner, and I hear what you're saying. What I'm saying is this system doesn't work. And as we build the budget, We need to have that assurance, knowing that we're gonna have that in there. But I would push hard against anybody who comes in and says, oh, I don't need an assistant director, I can do it all. You know,
Do we try?
we've tried 5 times, we've tried 4 times.
Proved not to work.
Right,
Yeah.
and when we talked with our supervisor yesterday afternoon, said, well, what did Dr. Green do differently that she was successful until she left? They said she worked day and night. Said she worked like a dog. And so they acknowledged it.
The reason that she moved on.
Yep.
The job was.
It was just too much.
No, she moved on because her husband was in the military and they had to move to North Carolina and they tried to avoid it for as long as they could.
Right. But
What they saw was someone who was burnt out. I didn't ever meet her. I've heard good things about her leadership, but.
Yeah, she was good.
yeah,
I will just say that if, I appreciate it and I'm not surprised and I understand, your perspective. But my strongest advice is that if you do not hire the health department administrative assistant, or
No,
excuse me,
assistant
assistant
director.
director, I keep saying
you
administration.
do.
Assistant director, we have to go back and revise those coordinator positions. We have to, the change of the whole budget, which is your purview to do. But it is a system that will not work. We haven't
Have you
hired
listened to
necessarily.
salary and the bits of that position within this budget?
Yeah, this is all, that's.
Unnecessary.
Yes, that is not in addition to what we're asking you. That is all.
Well, it's a new position, so technically it is.
But not to the budget.
Right.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, you are correct in both counts. But we cannot, I don't know how this can be a system that works. We have not given them a system. Since we brought them to Riley County, we've not given them a system. We said, okay, just do it and function. And it was a struggle before when it was city and county. And we hire very passionate people. They want to do a great job. Most of the people, 99% of the people that work here want to do a great job. And we have to be able to support them with a way to do it sustainably.
Well, it's like, go ahead.
No, pretty much.
Saying that I think it was a licensing person is overwhelmed. Or one of them was overwhelmed and it wouldn't work without somebody taking over
Yeah.
Well,
the administrative and all that billing.
And then to Commissioner McKinney's point, if we don't bring in the assistant director, we're going to lose at least 3 supervisors. We know we're going to lose them. They've told us that. So then we have to hire, then what do we do? Because they're going to want, they're going to say, I'd rather just be a dietitian like I was, or a nurse like I was. So then what do we do? Then we're back saying we have to cut positions in order to fill positions.
But also if you don't have the assistant director, the pay scale for the,
You're right.
instead of coordinator, I think you thought they were supervisors before, anyway. All those 6, I think it is, they all go, it's not gonna cover completely the assistant director's position. Well, but the director, you said the director would have to be higher because they're covering more stuff, and all these supervisors would have to be higher. I don't know if that may not make 100% of the assistant director, but that covers a lot of this.
Big portion of it. Yeah, because I'm gonna speak on her behalf. As we talked about, if we hire if we budget for an assistant director, then that'll change the pay scale of the director, correct? Because they won't have as much responsibility. So their pay from what we currently have will go down. And that'll help pay for some of that assistant director as well.
And as well as the supervisors, and as well as the other efficiencies. I'm not suggesting we have the only way that this could be done, but I think we have a functional way that we can move forward and thrive in the health department. Things are going to be expected to be dynamic and come back to you with some changes. And I do know that if you don't, and I don't mean to put you between a rock and a hard place, but there's the consequence of it is that if we don't have the assistant director, we need to reconfigure several things. And that is your purview to do. But I don't know, we collectively, the health department doesn't know how to make it thrive. We'll go back to the drawing table, but we do not know how to make it thrive.
I think we spent a whole lot of time and efforts on this,
Yes,
between, and I think you're lined it out in a way that it will work.
Thank you, I agree.
We wholeheartedly
We hope it
believe
works that way.
Absolutely.
Really hard.
Absolutely. We have spent a tremendous amount of time, worked with a lot of staff to understand what they do, where their struggles are. We've looked at other programs and such, and yes,
I don't
ma'am.
want to send you back to the drawing board.
I appreciate that. I don't,
Well,
But also, we've got, multi-year records thing, it doesn't work.
I agree.
Correct. Yep.
100.
What now,
And
what we've got now doesn't work. Something, we've got to revise things.
I think
Yeah.
that's the main point. I mean,
Yep.
we have proof is in the
We have
pudding.
proof that it doesn't work
Right,
right
right.
now.
We do.
you know, what they say, the definition of insanity is the thing, same thing over and over again, hoping different results. I mean, that's where we're at with this, and I'm living in it. And I could tell you, I've got, as if, somebody who's an experienced director, who's been a director for over 10 years, if this was my only department, I wouldn't be successful. It's just too much. It just is. It's overwhelming.
A lot involved. And I think the idea of combining them into one building is gonna help a whole lot.
Yes.
So they can coordinate back and forth and maybe things will change in that.
And that will help us share services more efficiently, look for
Yes.
synergies that we don't have to
Mhm.
continue.
Mhm.
We understand you need whatever services we provide to be sustainable. So,
And as cost effective as we can.
And combining, moving these others into that building, are we gonna need to reconfigure that building somewhat? Because I know it's, right now, it's.
So
would you mind,
in there for
would you mind
that.
having Corey come up? He looked at it and we talked a little bit yesterday.
He and I talked for
Yeah.
quite a while yesterday. So yes, but
I mean, I know it's not major.
Exactly.
it's not.
But some of those rooms are such odd shape back in there, and just arrangement was.
Indulge me for a moment. I'll show you
If you've got some plans.
so we
pop up
can,
there.
we can see it and that way it's clear.
Okay.
And I, while he does that, because he'll lay out for you what possibly he's thinking. I did talk to Brittany about just very rough, what Corey and David had talked about. The health department does have a reserve fund that would cover any small changes that need to be made. Not something that I would recommend using on personnel, but something that you can use on a one-time. And we're not talking about reconstruction. We're talking about those temporary walls going in place, maybe some doors.
So this is, for lack of better terms, Kanza, as we've known a long time. Right? Emergency management temporarily used part of it. But the health department and the clinic and so forth are down here, the hallway that comes down through the double doors. And then there's the glass front, kind of reception check-in area. So the idea of what we have discussed and gone over is that this side of the building here, looking left, is WIC, and that this side over here would become MCH. We evaluated the rooms, we evaluated the number of staff, looking at room sizes, discussing functionality, meeting with clients and patients. Some processes might change in that they may not necessarily see a client in their office, but they will have patient rooms where they will go meet with them when they come in. So it's just a process change in how they go about it. They'd be able to do shared services of reception in this area here. There are, yes, some funny looking rooms and so forth. The smaller rooms would not be offices. They would be more client patient that they would meet with when they go in. And then most of them, all they really need is some patch paint and a little bit of repair. There are some sinks in several of them, 5 of them. We'd remove the sinks, cap them off. The only thing, if you will, as construction would be the recommendation, a thought of splitting this large room in half to make this into 2 offices. And then there are, at that point, then there would be 5 offices available to support the MCH staff. They have 6. The reception would be here, and then those 5 offices would be up there. WIC, there are many more rooms available than what they have staff, but they see clients or patient families that come in. Even some of the larger rooms like these could be outfitted with some of the things they have for children and use and so forth like that when they come in and meet with them.
I think that was a play area and
Yes.
FCRC.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
And
that's what we've been
by the
talking about.
secondary
Yeah.
reception.
As far as this, the
Yep.
large lobby area here has options for things to be done. But trying to look at this in a minimal change as to what would need to take place,
But being functional.
but functional.
Where's Raising Riley fit in that equation?
So that's the other thing, Raising Riley and CCL, they're not our first focus, but we've talked about where they could go, which might mean, for example, my office, what did we say, 550 square foot? Michelle's office to say, yeah, I mean, but it's a big configuration, but how do we put in a law and make that small? Michelle Reed's office is large. Michelle Horsemeyer's office used to hold 2 people. Michelle Reed's held 3, so what do we do with that? Yeah, there's also offices that are currently being used by state representatives. Do we continue to house that instead of moving,
What do you mean state representative?
Office of Early Childhood?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So that's what we mean by those. And we haven't gone down that road of really looking at Raising Riley and some of these because we have to get through today first, right?
It'd be
And
probably upstairs. is
yes,
what you
that's
said.
what we're
Potential.
looking at. That is a potential.
Put a petition or something like
Yeah,
that.
so we just haven't, because Raising Riley, we just haven't gotten there yet. We just don't have that.
This is-
Just,
Yeah,
we're in a time crunch and our bandwidth was overloaded at this point, so. But
The other piece to this is that this door right down here is what leads down into the clinic area. And their first conversations, and my understanding is to look at the programs where they would be doing shared services potentially with clinic. There were some discussions on Raising Riley and childcare licensing, but it's a little bit hard to look at everything all at one time.
Yeah.
It's hard to swallow all that. And so this was the first conversations that they had on what we've done. Once we get to having our admin services and HR staff comes out of there, then we have a lot of space on the second floor. Then we'll open up for discussions for there.
so say somebody's over in this portion and they're being referred to the clinic, they have to check in with the clerk and then find their way through the maze to get to the clinic.
it's really not a maze, Commissioner. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
it
It's
looks like it.
it does. So,
I'm wondering if that little triangular spot down there could be opened up.
the clinic is right here.
Yeah.
And so they go out, they check out, they literally say, go right around these stairs.
Yeah, we should put some signage.
Oh,
up
there'll
there.
be signage everywhere for them. And, but yeah, so it's,
It's just
instead of
right.
saying go outside the building, go over to this other building, go up the stairs, go down the hallway, they're saying, go right around here and go through those double doors and they'll
I
take
want
care
to
of it.
point out too, that every single person will come in through the door over here. So they'll come in, they see the clinics, clerks, which there has been talk about, there's 3 spots there. Should we put the NMCH clerk there? Should we put who there? And then they come here to see their other services. So they literally just go back. where they
There's a
came out.
doorway
Yeah, the main door to the whole building is right here. So
Right
they
there,
will
yeah.
have done this already.
and that hallway there,
Oh,
Yeah,
there is,
it's
it isn't a wall.
not
across the
showing
bottom.
a door.
Yeah, it's.
This is the front door.
Yeah.
Right, here's
I
the
would say
front
there's
door.
not a
of the
wall
building.
there across that bottom.
Correct.
Right, that's not.
That's not a wall, okay.
No, that's how that becomes, that's the lobby. And then,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's open to the large.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just,
I agree with you looking at this. There's a lot going on, but it's very navigable when you get down there.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Well, and I appreciate it, Corey. I've walked through there a couple of times and he and Elizabeth had talked yesterday and they said, oh, we make this work. And I said, we gotta talk, and you've got to walk me through this
Yeah.
because walking through there, you're going, there's no way. But when we spent 30 minutes on the phone going through all the different rooms and everything, I said, okay, I can get on board with this, especially his thinking of there's some small rooms. You have to be really tight to be an office.
Okay,
You know.
and also we have room, these guys are so stuck on, we have to have big offices. Michelle Reed's office and the clerk's office was less than 100 square.
Well,
feet.
but
And she met with people. I mean,
Right,
these
yeah.
things are possible. They're all possible.
everything is possible, but I had to work through it. We had to see it. We had to have these conversations, because some people, they just have an office, others, they see clients. Right? And they see families. So that's where I was saying, okay, how are we going to do this? That's not, but I think it's doable.
Mhm.
We have not had conversations with our staff yet on this. So this
Well,
was on the location, and how it would break out and such. This was 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Corey and I were on the phone. He was walking me through room by room. So
so I did, I went through everything to evaluate what was there. I think with your approval and then to move it forward with John would be then to look at, it's not a zero cost. But there are not a lot of damage. Most of it is a patch and paint and floors. the exception of what might be the one wall. To further discussion and why will it all work? Yes. But now we think broader picture of where this could lead us to is the other things, if they'll give me just a moment to mention here. If we move MCH out of FCRC, that opens enough space to where extension could move there. And now we have the extension space for our admin services. And one of the things about the IT space up there, which might be a temporary, is that it is only 4 rooms, and that will be difficult to house admin services for a very long, for any length of time. To ask Elizabeth and Michelle to share a space, 1 room, to have PIO and possibly finance share a space, it's not efficient. Be asking, I need to have a meeting, would you leave and go in the other room for a while? The potential of the timeline here could put to where the current extension office next door would open up fairly quick, and we would have a consolidated admin services in there in a very short amount of time. You know, not to put a date to it, but certainly probably by summer of 27, if
So we
not
could
sooner.
move the new county administrator temporarily into where you are now because you're going to be
Right.
over there, right?
But if you
Is
think
it-
that we're coming up August, we have 4 months left. The IT remodel is scheduled to be done February 27. You know, we move this forward and make the moves.
It might go faster.
It
in
might go a
February.
lot faster. Yeah. So it's a nice series of dominoes that lines up for what we're doing in a bigger picture.
We talked to extension.
You just did.
Yeah.
This is, I mean,
There-
this is moving so fast.
You know, when I discuss,
I'm just.
Yeah, I know.
so to your,
Daniel's
yeah,
listening.
yeah,
Um,
to your question with extension.
Yeah.
I had conversations with Daniel before about being on the 2nd floor of this same building.
No.
And we actually looked at and discussed the 1st floor area as well. And as he said, lots of rooms, lots of space. You know, we can make do, you know, because we are very pleased with what we've had with Riley County, and even FCRC or in this building is better than 90% of what other extension offices have, as he said, you know, so I know that they would be receptive to it and not, and where MCH is at now in FCRC, it's move-in ready.
Yeah, it's right, front door.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's move-in ready.
First floor reception area,
Yeah.
which would be good,
Exactly.
but that's an awfully big
Right.
building for.
There's a
extension.
kitchen there, there's conference room there.
There's, yeah.
It would be move-in ready. So.
Well, we could probably, they probably don't need the whole building. so-
No,
No.
No, not at all,
spend
not at
it. What
all.
happens the rest
Yeah.
of it?
This is just the east half of
Mm.
the upper floor, is what that would be.
Okay, then we'll figure out the rest of it, I guess.
Yes.
So.
Any other questions for Corey? Thank you, sir.
You bet.
You juggle a lot of moving parts.
Yes, sir. Yeah, yes, sir. And I really appreciate you knowing and understanding that it'll be dynamic, because I've even told the staff that is that we have to figure out if this is the direction the commissioners want to go, get a budget approved, and then we have to tweak all of the things and make it work.
It's the budget you got there is 1.8, because isn't it in our worksheet now, isn't it 2.4?
Yeah,
Yep.
yes, yeah, it is. So we've, I didn't.
Let's bring that sheet.
Yeah. Pull the number of what is
Like that-
requested, but we're under.
That, when Brittany comes back, we'll work
I
with
have
that,
it,
but
yeah.
it is a major savings
It is.
for what we predicted for this.
And Brittany has signed off on this number as well, so.
Yeah, it is a cost reduction from what you currently have as a potential what's been proposed to you.
I've got any more questions?
I've asked a lot, so.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot
There's a lot
Yeah,
to do.
hopefully you'll continue to ask questions.
I recognize that this is gonna be a multi-year process. Generally speaking, everything here I don't really have a problem with, but I still don't agree that new positions and new people and just throwing those into the equation with new dollars, it's gonna solve anything. I mean, I think that's how we got into this. Refresh my memory, how many staff does Leavenworth County have at their health department?
They have, I believe it's 16.
Okay.
However,
I-
22.
right.
However, they don't provide near the services we have,
Right.
and they have the opportunity with other health departments close by. So those
I
clients
understand
can
it's
go
not
there.
apples and oranges. What about
It-
Douglas County?
Douglas County, I think they were about the same number of us.
Mm-hmm.
They have mental health, but they also partnership very heavily with their hospital.
Okay,
So that we don't have, their hospital is much more dynamic than ours, I mean, quite frankly. So they don't have to carry as much staff because they have another big agency that they can partner with.
but they do service a population that's more than twice ours.
Correct.
So there's an offset there
So-
still.
So we
But-
made a really comprehensive comparison to Leavenworth. I've
Yeah.
not done that to Douglas or Dickinson yet, but what I do think is really important, and I know you know this, but I have to reiterate it, is that the citizens that are in Leavenworth have options to go in a very close proximity
Yeah.
to other health
Mhm.
And
departments.
like I said, it's not apples and oranges. I got that.
Right.
So
Yep.
that is going to affect the services we provide, or the services that are needed, I guess I should say.
Is that when you're talking about the other ones, I mean, like at the southern part of the county, they can go to Kansas City or
Lawrence.
Tonganoxie, I would think they'd go to Lawrence for it. It'd be
Yep. Yep. Yep.
pretty close.
Right.
As opposed to going to Leavenworth. and
They've got a major
Basin
medical
can go to
facility there in
Stephanie,
Wyandotte.
Kansas City.
Mhm.
I get it.
And of course,
Yeah.
go to Leavenworth.
And it's, I think
And
it's
they're robust. yeah.
kind of the same with Lawrence Douglas County. They've really grown to their east. So they may, instead of going back to Lawrence, they may go, so.
They have a larger presence of military per capita than we do too, and
Mhm,
we do
mhm.
have a VA hospital there, so
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
another
Yeah.
option there.
We've really
I
tried,
get all that. Mm-hmm.
we've really tried to look at this from all different angles and such, and so.
Oh, I disagree with you. John, I think that we do need a health department director at least.
Oh, I agree. I'm not
And,
arguing
you know,
that.
And get those people in place to, and when you hire them, here's what we've got as a structure. There
Yes,
can be
ma'am.
minor changes, but this is what we want,
Yes, ma'am.
is what you're asking. us.
Yes, ma'am. Right. Yeah. Yes. Give us those tools, and then we'll get it started. And then when we bring them in, they will have a path to success that, quite frankly, we do not have right now.
Well, I'd move to approve the proposed budget and restructure as proposed.
I would,
Can I?
I'll go ahead and second it, but it's gonna come under great scope from me moving
Absolutely.
forward, so be expecting it.
Absolutely.
okay, so moved and seconded to approve the proposed budget and restructure as proposed, on the health department. All in favor?
Commissioners, I greatly appreciate it. I do want to clarify to make sure your CCL decision is to go down one staff person and what date that would be effective. Would you do that at the end of 26? Their funding obviously follows state, so they would have funding through June 30th. But our report is for 27, so I want to make sure we're
We have to fund that for half a year,
correct, yeah. So, and
Or
and
keep it-
right now we have.
which is
three.
fine with me because that, sorry to interrupt, but that gives the department the opportunity to evaluate that and figure out what the best approach is instead of saying you've
So-
got to do it between now and the end of the year. So they've
So
got
you're-
almost a year to figure that out.
Yeah, you gotta, and like I say, there could be vacancies that they can move to other department or other divisions, whatever it is.
So move to that direction with the
Yeah.
goal being the finish date of June 30th of 27.
I
Or
would,
is that correct?
That's what I would say.
and I also say as we look towards 2028 and that particular side is to kind of come up with a phase A or phase B or something, look at it both ways of what it looks like in its current structure and what it looks like if we were to just move and let the state take care of it.
Yes, we definitely want to evaluate.
And I'm
all
not
the
gonna
services
sit here at
provided.
this point in time and tell you we should go one way or the other, but
Mhm.
we need to look at all the available options, particularly since that's not statutorily required.
Okay, that will adjust our request, and just so you're tracking slightly for the half a year of that position, but it'll still be less than.
No, okay, but the health department director, would that be on the time frame of like first of
I would recommend that the health department director be started, the job description come to you in the next 2 weeks and be starting to recruit for it.
It's already in this year's budget.
Yes,
It
sir.
was in this year's budget. So it's not,
Yes, we just need to adjust we need to adjust
the
the. job
assistant, the
description.
assistant isn't there, but may have to wait till the first year.
Yeah, we're still funding what we have because we have some cost savings from the open positions, but, so we'll get you those job descriptions and we'll get you exact numbers for 26.
And get the cost savings number through that personnel too.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Because that'll
absolutely.
definitely early in 27 be a.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we're looking how we can, because these jobs are still being done. So the jobs that we have grants for are still being done. The work is being done, the clients are being seen. And so we're reallocating to the appropriate person that's doing those jobs,
Mhm.
and trying to be as efficient as we can with the county dollars.
I'd like to start seeing some grant breakdowns. What they're for and their specific purpose.
Oh, sure.
And what the internal and fiscal impacts are on those. What are we using for resources? What are we using for personnel dollars to match up with those particular grants?
Okay.
If you get a $10,000 grant for a year and you're using 5 or 6 people, you have to do such and such and such with them.
Mhm.
It's probably not worth the $10,000.
Yes, sir. And that's been my advice to the health department director for 5 years now. We can't, with the great programs, great effect, we have to be able to sustain it. We have to have this.
I think as we go through the hiring process of this next director, we need to be crystal clear. This is what our expectations are. We're not budging
Agree
from
more
it.
on that.
Right.
That
We're
is
not
very
budging from that.
Yeah, so I would ask if we can wait until you're done getting the 27 budget and then we can start bringing you back grant and that.
That's-
part of
Yeah,
their.
I think that's
Okay.
probably
That's gonna
more
take some
applicable to
time.
28 at this point in time
Yeah,
anyway, so that's.
It's gonna take.
Okay, so Michael, I'm gonna look at you. Are we good or do we need a revote? Because there's a tweak to what we propose. We're keeping the CCL licensing person through June 30th and looking for ways to other attrition for that.
Just be on the safe side, I would go ahead and revote, but
Sorry, guys.
Say that again.
Okay, what are,
But we're
Okay, so
advising
can
the extra WIC person from January to June.
the extra childcare.
Childcare
Childcare
license,
license.
yes, correct.
That's
Yeah.
my
What
clarification.
if,
Yeah.
but we haven't actually finalized the 27 budget anyway, so is that a?
Well, we'll bring, what we bring back to you for the final 27 budget will be whatever you vote to do the reorganization here. So what I heard you saying is keep that childcare licensing position until the end of June, where we have the funding, which was not part of the proposal. So I would ask that you make a new motion for that.
okay, so it would only be till June of,
June
next
30th. of
My,
20.
yeah, my recommendation would be that you would move to accept the proposed reorganization, with the exception of keeping the childcare licensing specialist until June 30th.
Well, I'll move to approve the revised proposed budget and restructuring.
I'll go ahead and second.
it's been moved and seconded to approve the revised budget and structuring. All in favor?
Aye. Thank you very
Thank-
much,
thank you,
commissioners.
commissioners.
We are very dedicated to make this thrive.
And commissioners, I just want to reiterate, this is a team effort. Elizabeth has spent countless hours, Michelle, countless hours, John, Corey, countless hours, all of the staff there, Josh from EMS, but also the other departments that I lead, right? I haven't given them as much attention as I need to. I will be able to now that we got through this, and I am a little, but I will give them that, but to those staff as well, the EMS, emergency management, rural fire, all of those, because I just, they have been very supportive. But this is what Riley County does, commissioners, all of these different departments come together. I hear back and forth from Jacob. It may be Michael who does the work, but I send them a lot of different documents and I get them back pretty quickly that are tied to the health department. So this is all of Riley County, and this is why we work here. Thank you.
Yeah, I applaud you all for all your work and attention to everything, all this.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a motion that we recess as the Board of County Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commission.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to recess as the Board of County Health and reconvene as the Board of County Commission. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
on that note, I found the initial resolution creating the joint board of health, so I think I might have some clarifications to offer. on when we went with it.
You know, I've
We're just always-
across the state, some people be different things. Some people don't do that at all and some people do. And
I don't know that it's actually
I
necessary.
think during
but-
my time, Clancy has said, just play it safe.
Yeah, the purpose, to make plans,
Yeah.
formulate policy and review programs of the health department. So just to be on the safe.
I've
side.
had another county counselor say, you're already in an open meeting there, so it's technically open jurisdiction in terms of COMA. So it's just a, what do you call it? It's
Yeah, formality. I think
Formality,
that's
yeah.
good.
That's the word I was looking for. So,
Makes us sound important.
yay.
Um,
Good morning. John Ellerman, Public Works. And this came a little quick, from a phone call we had with, I guess came to the clerk's office from Department of Revenue. Basically for the past 25 years or so, we've had a half cent or a sales tax of some sort to fund road and bridge projects, maintenance and repair projects. When in 23, we started at 0.2, and that lasted for a 5-year term. And that 5 years ends at the end of next year. Department of Revenue is saying that if we want to continue that at the beginning of 28, we need to have an election to approve that this year, due to a timing issue to get it from the moment of time it passes to start collecting. So they don't think our next year being a smaller election and not probably having a primary election that we wouldn't have the timing to get it in.
Wouldn't be able to do it in November.
They need the
Before.
information in October to start it on January of 28,
No.
collecting of the sales tax. So in order to get ahead of that, they're suggesting we can do that in November this year, to put on the renewal of that road and bridge sales tax. I know it's short notice. I don't know what kind of legalities and what kind of semantics we have to do with the state to get approval,
Yeah.
and to write a question and all that, let alone to educate the need for the sales tax.
I've just been trying to do research just in this meeting. It's a complicated subject. If we need to get it, you need to get on the ballot, probably a good idea to start moving that way.
Couple of things with that, reverting back to 21, and it seems like an eternity now, but it was only 5 years, but we had to get an AG's opinion. I don't think that was on the ballot question, that was on the increment. Because the statute itself says you have to work in 0.5s. And
Oh,
we
yeah.
question that. So I
Yeah.
think that's why we had to have the AG opinion. But I'm curious if we're going to run the same sales tax, do we need to get the same opinion? Because it doesn't fit the statutory requirement. And if it's so, we're out of time already.
I found one of the prior opinions. I'll be real honest. I don't know right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
That's
need
no
to-
help, no.
that's a huge question in all of this, to be
Yeah.
quite honest with you. And we did that because we kind of evaluated what our projects were and realized we weren't trying to shoot for the moon on that. We were trying to,
Well, 0.2 is all we were getting.
Yeah.
0.5.
Exactly.
City got the rest, that's it.
and the city took the entire
Basically.
0.5 at that point in time for
Yeah. That's it.
for other things too, outside of what we were originally doing that, and the voters voted on it, so that is what it is. But the other thing I had taken consideration here is, and I know John and I spoke in depth about this yesterday, but we haven't really laid out what we're actually doing with the current dollars. I know we've got some things in progress, but in order to sell that to the public, they need to know what we're doing with the current dollars, in my opinion, to be able to extend it. We're not really providing that at this point in time, and I'm not throwing anybody into the bus or pointing fingers. It's just the way it is. The other challenge that we're gonna have here, try to sell this in November, is the city of Manhattan. Their same technical tax for this that they passed 10 years ago, because they get 10 years instead of the 5. That's something we need to work on in the future too. Is either some kind of an extension or renewal or sunset and something new to do basically the same thing and other things that would be on the ballot at the same time. And so my opinion that having two different, maybe not competing sales tax, but two sales tax on the ballot for everybody to vote for at the same time is going to be overwhelming. Well, for me to get this sold, in order to do it appropriately, I don't think this year is the year to do it.
And if, like I said, your second option is saying we just do without it for 1 year, if we had to wait until the 28th election.
And
You could still put it on next year's election, it just wouldn't be start collection until the 29th.
yeah.
Oh,
It's the way it's the way I'm understanding. the-
okay, I see.
the
Oh.
con-
So we'd have 1 year a gap in there, and considering what we're proposing, it'll take half a year to get any one of those projects together, and we could probably survive. I guess my second logistical question here is somebody, regardless if it's an extension of your current or you're doing something new or rewording that, somebody at the state level still has to review that before you can technically do it, correct? And I think we have like a first week in September deadline here at this point in time, so about 5 weeks.
At
Well,
some point, in some, again, this is
Just-
going off what I've learned in this meeting.
We need to give you time to research. it.
Yeah, I think Jacob and I need time to research this.
That makes sense. I think we'd be better off trying to shoot for next year.
Well, let's see what he comes up with.
Yeah, we could
for research.
table
I
it and
don't-
give us a few days.
Special election.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to pay for a special election, you have to pay for it.
28th.
No, 27th, you can do it in November.
The other thing
Generally,
too,
27th,
I
not a primary.
think the other thing to look at too is we did have community support in 21,
Mhm.
which made a huge difference because we can't advocate one way or the other way somebody should vote. We can only inform and educate. There are other groups that were advocating outside of that. I don't think we'll have that this time around. And that's a huge deal. My goal isn't to spend all the time between September and November trying to sell something with the intent that it's not sellable. And I really feel like it at this moment with all the variables in place, it's just not sellable.
I do know last time we did start early May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
because
what
that's what I
With
was
that,
thinking,
and
so.
I apologize for being unprepared. I was on the track of moving to doing this next year. but
Yeah.
Not realizing the
And I think-
deadlines you had to have. to
And
get
even if
there.
we skip out a year, we've got enough built up.
We'll have projects. We'll keep doing the
We'll-
projects.
you'll have-
And,
we'll have
and
to
I,
keep
and I
working.
apologize for not sharing the list more often. We do have a plan. We do have projects and they are underway. I haven't been good about sharing them with you, as we have in the past. So
I'm
that's
thinking
why it
all-
looks like we're not doing anything with it.
Fair
Oh,
enough.
Yeah.
I think also in all openness and transparency, we do have a road and bridge advisory board that takes different elements from the community to be able to sit at the table and kind of gauge, are we doing these projects appropriately? Are they of priority? Or maybe we need to do something else different? And we haven't really gone through that process too. And I think that's needs to be a fair process to the voters and the taxpayers for this as well. I'm not against the sales tax, don't get me wrong. I think when it comes to road and bridge infrastructure, everybody's using it where you live here or not, whether you're working here or not, whether you're just coming here for entertainment and play or not. So everybody needs to have a piece of that to keep it going and keep it maintained and make modernizations and updates and everything else. So this is the proper way to go for this. I'm not really happy with the statutory process that's in place for that. When it comes to county use of sales tax, you've got two options. You go to the legislature and early in the year and basically play Charles Dickens and say, please, sir, can I have some more? Or, you put it on the ballot and they've allowed us that opportunity. So they give us some local engagement on that. So, in all fairness, but I know there's a process in place for that legally in order to get to that point. And I'm not so for sure, maybe we haven't kind of butted up to that deadline.
Well.
That statute, I'm aware
You
of
would
it.
do that. Okay, you could do
Yeah.
that fairly quickly, right?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
be
okay.
looking into
So we'll maybe look at it maybe next week sometime or
it.
whenever.
Yeah, I'll.
Okay.
Well, I see, I'm not sure we have enough time.
Yeah,
We
we may
were
not.
we were already
I guess my
getting at it. We weren't promoting, we were getting out information.
Right.
This
We,
stuff already.
we were concerned in the office that we were running pretty short. on
Let me
putting
just
something together.
ask the question, Don. I didn't ask this yesterday. I mean, can we survive with a year without and influx?
I think the only thing we might, yeah, I think so.
Okay,
So
if all else fails, we're not,
we're still
completely
working
out,
on
just-
these projects.
right, okay,
We wouldn't probably start anything new right away,
okay,
27, 28.
okay.
Yeah.
But we're still working on projects. One gap here won't break us, but we're just a little bump in the road, I think.
No pun intended.
Very much intended.
No pun intended.
Takes a while to get it all put together, because
That's what the delay was here. We were thinking we had to wait for some of the money to start coming in before we started, and by the time we started,
Yeah.
we were already into it a little further than we wanted to be.
And I think to you, this is the prime example of how when you're dealing with sales tax, 5 years isn't really long
Not a
enough.
very long
I mean, even if you're building, and these are statutorily possible too, but if you're building a new health department per se, which doesn't appear like we need to focus on that, or if you need to build a new jail, we'll leave that conversation alone here too. Or if you wanted to build a new courthouse, and that's another conversation that you're gonna have. You have to let these sales tax dollars build up to know what you have. And sales tax fluctuates. I know in years prior, due to inflation, we've gotten a lot more sales tax revenue in, but that doesn't seems to be kind of up and down now. 5 years isn't enough for major projects like this to be able to really make a solid analysis of whether or not you need it. I really think as counties, we need to make a push, much like the cities for.
I'm
a
gonna
10-year
argue we
capital.
need it.
Huh?
I'm gonna argue we need it.
Yeah.
If we don't, then it becomes budget items
Yeah,
to
I-
replace a bridge, replace.
Yeah. As I mentioned, I'm not against it. I just think the timing of it isn't,
Timing's bad.
timing's horrible. Yeah.
I
let's
think
get prepared.
skipping 1 year shouldn't.
Shouldn't,
that
it
much.
shouldn't bother us too much. If we skip 2 or 3 years, then we might have.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
I would agree.
I do want to make a plug now that since you brought it up, Road and Bridge Board has, or Advisory Board has a couple open spots, so if anybody's out there wanting to have something to do,
Cindy, can you email us the information on that, what the board term limits are and where we're at on that, and I'll
Maybe
do what I can to.
put it out on like the PIO, you go out on the website.
Yeah, we have our open positions on. the
Yeah.
website, But she can probably do something.
I don't think we have any
Some kind of a
applications for
notice
that
we
particular
need.
board, do we? No, that's okay, that's okay. I think I might be able to help you on that one. So I guess in terms of what we need to do here, do we need to table it for further discussion, or you okay with just pushing it to 27? I mean,
You could table it, give Jacob and I a few days to research it, and just give you some expectations, like it might.
Make sure everything's
Yeah.
clear.
It might be there is enough time to get it on the ballot, and if that's something the board would like to do, we could do that. It might be we run past any sort of deadline. I don't know right now.
Yeah. I guess my biggest deal on this is because the statute has made it pretty clear, but we've already gotten an AG opinion on that the first time around, so maybe that's the case analysis on it. I don't know, but
There was an AG opinion from the AG to Clancy in 2012
Yes.
that I found, and that is the last one.
2012?
2012 is the one I
Oh, wow.
found. Governing how this would need to be extended, but it was just that it needed to be submitted to the electorate essentially.
that was for the House census.
Right,
Okay.
So that's, I'm still looking.
Okay, no. Then we'll give you guys time to do that. That's fine.
Didn't they say it had to be a 0.25? We said 0.2.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
That it had to be in quarter.
Was it
percent
quarter
increments,
increments? That I might
I
be right.
think.
I can't
I
remember.
remember there was some.
Yeah.
odd rule.
And we started in May, and it took, I mean, it almost took all the way up to September fortunately, we had it written, so once it was written, we could just put it on, but I thought there was a small review process from something in the state just to, or maybe it was bond council.
Yeah,
or
there's
something
not,
that
there,
reviewed that.
usually when there's bonding, there, it
Yeah.
has to go through the AG, but
Yeah,
I didn't see that with this statute, but
Okay.
again, I'll do research. I don't know.
okay, no, that's fine.
Table this until we get legal counsel. Is that
Yeah.
what we need to?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
so
I'll-
Michael, I would ask if you guys do that, we'll get with Evan.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys in the loop. I'll spend today on it. I think Jacob will be back tomorrow, and we'll probably both plug ahead on it. I've got court tomorrow, but this is probably priority number one for now.
Thank you.
Okay. I'll go ahead and make a motion then to table the pursuance of a renewal of the 0.2 cent sales tax for the November 26th ballot.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to table the pursuit of renewal of the 0.2% sales tax on the November ballot. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'm done.
I have nothing else. I think we're good today.
If you have anything else, you can wait till Monday.
Get out to the fair. Get out to the fair sometime before it's 101 degrees on Sunday. That's the end of that. Yes. I'm not ready for a phase 3 on that. Thanks.
Okay.
I move to adjourn the January or July 23rd meeting, the Riley County Commission.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn the July 23rd meeting of the Board of Riley County Commissioners. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.